All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and waiting patiently for the intro to finish up. I am live a little bit early today. Um, I don't know. I was just feeling like I wanted to go live a little bit earlier because I noticed that with this sickness or virus or whatever it was, it's taken a while to completely leave the system. And I notice in the afternoon and especially in the evening, it's giving me really bad headaches. Should pass soon, I would hope. It's been like a week and a half. But in an effort to just make sure that, because like yesterday in like the middle of my stream, I started getting this horrible headache and then it just got worse and worse and worse. So I figured, you know what, I'll go live a little bit early today. I see some people asking me. So the video that I released, I guess about like a half hour ago, I had to uh, take it down because there was a pretty significant editing mistake where I had B-roll footage of Horizon Forbidden West playing at full volume. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure how I let that one slip on by, but unfortunately, it made the video unwatchable and I did not have time to correct it and then re-upload it and do everything that I needed to do to re-release the video. So I apologize for that. However, I will be talking about what I discussed in that video in this stream. Some of you guys may be a little bit confused by the title. I will explain. So we've been talking about the PlayStation 6 for a little while, and the reason for that is because we've been getting a myriad of rumors and leaks and all that good stuff or bad stuff, depending on how you view it, in regards to the PlayStation 6. And with that, we're getting every opinion under the sun. Everybody's giving their 2 cents. Everybody's giving their thoughts on whether or not it's too soon for the PlayStation 6 to release. But with that comes massive amounts of what I believe to be hyperbole and just opinions that seem so. I'll give you a rundown of what the crux of this conversation is ultimately. The crux of this conversation is me trying to find out if I am completely out of touch. Okay. Um, I came across something on Twitter yesterday, as I often do, and it's not anything new, but it's the more of like the timing of it, right? I've been talking to you guys for the entirety of the PlayStation 5 generation about how it seems like there's just been a swath of negativity for the PlayStation 5 specifically. And I do think that, well, see, that's what's interesting. You're saying, who is they? Um, a lot of people. In fact, it's popular opinion. It's popular opinion, man. And that's why I need to ask the question if I'm out of touch. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. Shadowlink, what's up, man? So I'm gonna bring up something in a few moments here. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. I'm gonna like extend the intro a little bit since I went live a little bit earlier. Let more people kind of file in, more notifications go out. But yeah, I've been often labeled as like a PlayStation fanboy or a Sony pony and whatnot. MBG, do we really have to acknowledge these these cringe Twitter rage bait posts? We keep telling you it's not real. I mean, well, to be honest, MacTube, it was either this or I was going to maybe not stream at all today. And I figured, you know what? I'm going to rant about this anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to come out at some point. Why not just do it today? Because I was looking over the gaming news and rumors today, and I'm like, it seems like we kind of covered everything. Now there's the calming down. Maybe it'll last a day, maybe it'll last a couple days. I mean, there's drama in other sectors as well, certainly, but this was something that kind of was on my mind, and I'm like, you know what? I may as well. Irvin says, "Let it out." I'm gonna let you know now. This entire stream just gonna be one long crash out. Michael Lynch with a $5 chat says, "Speaking of hyperbole, Jaffe is full of it. I've played 15 hours of Sons of Sparta, and I'm loving it. I think he just loves complaining." I've seen a lot of people say that David Jaffe is just somebody not worth listening to, and I can't say either way whether that's true or not because I don't listen to David Jaffe. It's nothing personal. I don't listen to hardly any buddy out there. So, I've been seeing him pop up more because of this Sons of Sparta game. And I actually read an article that was going over what he had to say about it. And I think, I don't know, man, he does come off as somebody who just has an axe to grind. You know what I mean? And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But just based off of like what I read, his reaction to it, like I don't know. It does seem like the game has got him pretty upset, and I don't know why. Because like there has been some drama, unfortunately. I mean, guys, I could pull up a bunch of stuff. You should see some of the stuff I've come across on Twitter where I've seen like Nintendo fanboys losing their minds trying to compare this game to like Nintendo games. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like this is a random side game made by an indie dev. Sony basically licensed the God of War IP, and it's you know what I mean. It's a shadow dropped game. Like what are people? I just don't understand what people are expecting. You know what I mean? Where it's like everything I've seen of the game looks totally inoffensive. Where I'm like, it doesn't personally appeal to me. Oh, and also I gotta deal. I'm tired of dealing with. God, this is gonna be such a crash out stream. I can feel it, man. I gotta let it out. But like, what's up with somebody leaving a comment on my on my stream yesterday? Wait, hold on. MBG Moore's Law is Dead has just dropped a new video about the PS6, Xbox Magnus, and Steam Machine pricing. Thank you. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to cover that today though, because today's stream is dedicated to crashing out. Depending on what he said in that video, maybe that will be more news for tomorrow. Maybe Moore's Law is Dead has been dropping a lot of really good info. He's been like, when it comes to the PS6, somebody dropping the most amount of insider information. So we'll see if maybe that's something we end up covering tomorrow more thoroughly. Because I don't want to be mixing like real news or potential leaks and rumors into my crash out stream. But but thank you for letting me know. And what's up with somebody leaving a comment under my stream yesterday being like, "What kind of God of War fan doesn't play Sons of Sparta?" and is basically saying how like, this is all the PlayStation fan base wants. It's so cringe. Like they just want their AAA cinematic games. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, man? Like it's just so frustrating because it's like you didn't watch the stream. I got multiple comments from people, even people dropping super chats or milestone chats saying that they've been enjoying the game. MRPD was in here yesterday saying he gave the game a chance. Oh, I'm gonna replay that moonshot in a second. It's so hard not to crash out to this type of stuff because it's like I want to respond and basically say like, "Are you dumb?" But I know that it's like if you do that, like it's just like what do you think's going to change MBG? And I want to punch air because it's like I want to change the world. But I really am just questioning like, dude, what is this? Like, what are comments like that where it's like there were people saying that they weren't interested in the game, but there were, I would say, just as many people on the stream saying they were and they were enjoying it and they like it. And I'm like, so I don't know where or maybe they took it from me because I'm not playing it. And I'm like, dude, I'm just explaining that I'm not playing it because I'm not into 2D side scrollers like that. God of War fan or not. We have GBRC saying, what we have here are the Karens of gaming never being satisfied with what they have in the here and now. I think it's worse than that, man. I got to be honest with you. Like, that's why I'm having this conversation today, because I think it's worse than just the Karens of gaming. I think the Karens of gaming have always existed. They've always been annoying. They're always going to exist. And I think to an extent we've kind of accepted them, where it's like, yeah, it's just always going to be there. You're always going to have the complainers. You're always going to have the people where it will never be enough. But I feel as though that pool of people has grown exponentially and possibly mutated into something even worse. I don't know if you would even call them the Karens. Like I feel like the new breed of Karens. I'm not sure what we would name them. I'm sure you guys can come up with some kind of terminology, but it's so bad, man. Like I genuinely was, and that's the thing. I've gotten pretty good. I'm not perfect at it, but I've gotten pretty good at being able to determine like what is rage bait, what is,
Just like they did with
you
Horizon God
know,
of War and
oh, hold
GT7
on.
as general, unless you think her.
I'm gonna mute that moonshot just because I'm gonna play them back to back. I've gotten pretty good at determining like what's rage bait, what's being done for clicks. But I've accepted that everything's done for clicks ultimately, and there's nothing I can do about that. But there's a determination, like more broadly speaking, where it's like, okay, somebody says something crazy and ridiculous, and they do it for clicks. Fine. Like that never catches my attention. What catches my attention is how it influences and impacts the greater, wider conversation of people who are not doing this for clicks, of people who are not making money off this, actual people who are engaged with it. And that's what truly catches my attention. And specifically why something on Twitter yesterday really caught my attention, where I'm like, it's not even what the person's saying. It's so many of the replies underneath. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. And that makes me feel like I'm super mega out of touch, man. And Josh Z with a $5 super chat says David Jaffe is butthurt that someone else made the series he created more successful than the original trilogy. He hated 2018 too, remember? Well, that's crazy to me. Yeah, I remember there was some drama surrounding that. Yeah, I don't know, man. David Jaffe, he's like a loose can. I can't take anything he says seriously. Because I've seen I've seen the craziest. Like I'm not one for judging people off of clips, without getting excuse me, getting full context. But some of the clips I've seen of like just the like unhinged stuff he said is like I it has to be for comedy because I don't know. Like, there's no way this like that to me is like this is satir. It has to be satirical. Like, there's no way that's real, right? Or at least half of it isn't. And I guess I've just kind of like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's just this is done, to create a reaction to get people worked up and stuff like that. I will say what he said about the Sons of Sparta game that does seem pretty genuine, and to me, just I read that as like it seems kind of harsh, like it's kind of brutal, but yeah, I can't take it too seriously. You know what I mean? Um, no, I agree. No, I agree with that. I don't think it's a hot take to not like a game. I don't think that's a hot take. I just think that it's not really, it goes back to the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? There's a million different ways to say I don't like a game, and there's a lot of ways to say it that's going to generate fire, you know what I mean, and generate fist fights, like virtually speaking. Um, so it always comes down to it's not what you say, it's how you say it, because the reality is if people were more honest and more real on the internet would, you could argue, be, I don't want to say a boring place, but it would be much more chill, in that, like, if people really did just say, oh, yeah, I don't like that game. I don't think that looks good. But here's a game I do think looks good. People who do that don't get attention. And that's sad to me because it's like, to me, that's the right thing to do. Like trying to like beat something so deep into the earth, over and over. And I get it. I'm guilty of it sometimes myself. To a degree, I guess it is part of human nature, but it's like just having a level of awareness where it's like, all right, guys, like just let it be what it's going to be. It's, at this point, it's not even hurting anybody. You know what I mean? It's not even relevant anymore. MEG, the problem with his take is it's just his opinion. It's not what he have wanted. But then he goes and advises people not to buy it. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's why I was a little bit surprised by like how aggressive he was with it, where he's like, "What the f are they thinking? Like this is effing like this is like a WB kids game or something." Which like that's crazy. And I'm like, like he's not just a random person. Like he is the creator of God of War, and I'm like, geez, man. Like you would just think it would be handled with a little bit more like, you know, maybe you'd go a little bit easier on it. Like, oh, it's not what I would have done. I don't really like it, but whatever. That's what they chose. I mean, he's just like, I fucking hate that thing. That's why I'm thinking like I don't know how much of it is I don't know. Like I don't know, man. Who knows what's going on with David Jaffe? People are allowed to express themselves. And I know rage bait and hatred run deeply in these communities because it's the cool thing to do. It's a cultural shift since the 2020s. People are becoming poor. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Like I have accepted, obviously, that some of general society is becoming, I say some, it's probably a lot, just more irritated because things are getting more difficult, more challenges are presenting themselves. And the internet is a really easy place to just let it go. You know what I mean? And I get that. I'm not, I, this is why at the end of the day, like, I'm not losing sleep over this. You know what I mean? It's just the internet. The internet's always going to be insane. But I also naturally a lot of times tend to form my own opinions, and I have my own reactions to things, and in this case, with the conversation about the PlayStation 6, and actually, hold on, Josh, my bad, dude. I got a couple of direct donations from Josh that I want to play real quick.
Considering how long cross-gen is going to be, I doubt Sony will sit on PS6 games if it's delayed. They'll just release it on PS5 and upgrade it for PS6. Just like they did with Horizon God of War and GT7 this general, unless you think early PS6 games can't possibly run on PS5, which I find very hard to believe.
Yeah, Josh,
Worst generation
oh,
lol. We have gotten 2 original re-stories and a remake, clown face emoji, S.
clowns, clown face emoji S. Thank you, Michael. That was a $2 direct donation from Michael. Yeah, dude, Michael, I have a lot to say on this topic, man. I really do. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree, and I'm not looking to argue. There's only a few people that I actually would argue with at this point. And I want to make it crystal clear. I would not argue with the person that says this is not my favorite generation. I liked this gen better, or I think that gen was better. That's not the person. The person I'm probably going to argue with is the person that wants to try to gaslight me and communities of people seemingly into thinking like this has been awful and you're basically delusional if you think any of this was even remotely good, because God knows that's what I've been encountering. And I'm like, what the it's like, it's literally like, what crack rock are you smoking? For real. Like, I'm saying that earnestly. Stop smoking whatever crack rock you're like, that's the crazy part to me, man. Um, it's like encountering the people who are still trying so hard to convince themselves that that last state of play wasn't fucking amazing. Like, I'm not saying you got to write home about it and celebrate it from the rooftops. What I'm saying is you can't say that was a bad show. That's what I'm saying. You could say the show wasn't for me. You can say I didn't think it was as good as everybody else. You can say all these things, but you can't say that was a bad show, because if you say that was a bad show, I'm sorry, but it's like what are you playing? I am seriously asking that. What are you playing? And what are you expecting to see that that it didn't show there? That's a real question. Like, that's a real question I have for people, because I have a feeling that for a lot of these people, you'll find out they ain't playing shit. In fact, that motherfucker doesn't even have a PS5. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That's probably the real truth for more than half of what we see. And it's like, okay, man, yet you're allowed to just throw this shit out into the ether. Of course you are. But Josh, getting back to what you said with the direct donations, I agree with you. Um, you were saying, considering how long cross-gen is going to be, I doubt Sony will sit on PS6 games if it's delayed. Yeah, that's kind of another problem that we haven't really talked about. Maybe we'll talk about it over the course of this stream or future streams as well, where it's like, if the PS6 does get delayed, what does that mean for the games that were developed to be launch titles for the PS6? I mean, I do think some could get delayed, but that's kind of the awkward part of it, right? Where it's like, if you if these games were already built to be cross-gen, it puts them in an awkward position where it's like, so you're going to wait to launch a cross-gen game? I mean, they could do that, but this is where, when we talk about the PS6 being delayed, it's a complicated thing. It's not a decision that's just made haphazardly or lightly. Under no circumstances. It's a decision that's made very much with like, okay, this is going to have massive repercussive effects for the next 2 to 3 years for PlayStation. MBG, you can't wrap your mind around people not liking the latest state of play. Meaning you can't say it's bad. Like, listen, you can say it's bad. You're just wrong. Objectively. You are objectively wrong if you say that was a bad state of play. You can say, like, again, you can follow it up with anything. You can say it was bad, in my opinion, because I didn't see games I liked. Okay. That's your subjective opinion. You can't say that was a bad state of play. Because if you say that, the implication there, like, look, I would have to just follow up. Then what would you say is a good show? Show me a good show. And we will compare it to this supposed bad show. And you'll see very quickly how, do you see how, like, you objectively, you cannot, because the only way a person could honestly just simply say that was a bad show is if they haven't enjoyed any gaming shows for the last 10 plus years. Then it's like, okay, I actually believe you. Then I would believe you. But at that point, I'd say, you're miserable. You don't like games. Go away. Not you, Tarnished, but the person saying that, Like, if they were like, yeah, I don't think any gaming show was good for the last 10 plus years. At that point, then okay, maybe you do enjoy gaming. You don't like watching video game shows at all. There could never be a good video game show for you. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I said the same thing about, what was it, Xbox's 2024 showcase, where I'm like, that was objectively a good showcase. And I was like fighting people. They were getting mad at me because, like, what do you mean? I'm like, that was a good showcase. Like, objectively, they hit all the marks, dude, or most of them. And there were just people who were like, nah, man, that's a shit showcase. Like, that was a terrible show. I'm like, no, it literally was not. I'm pretty sure it was the 2024 showcase. I'm fairly certain that was the one. It definitely wasn't last year's. I'm pretty sure it was 2024's. But that's why I'm saying, like, I just think there are certain aspects of these things where it's like, yeah, man, there's certain aspects that make a show good objectively. And I think one of those aspects is the volume, like the breadth of the show, where it's a lengthy show, but it has variety, and it has good variety, not just random shit spewed everywhere, just for the sake of checking off a box, but because it's like, I think you could find games in these shows that you could say don't look great to you, but I think it becomes a challenge. Like, what makes a good show is when it's challenging to find more than one or two games that just straight up, like, actually, like, that looks like some like trash, or like that looks like that's going to be like a 4 out of 10 game or something. Good shows are ones that have the scope, they have the variety, and they seemingly, based off of everything you've been shown, have some level of quality to it, where I'm like, that's a good show. And that's how I judge it anyway. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you look at this recent state of play, like, that's what that was, man. That's not me saying you have to say I'm looking forward to those games. But it's just like, what game from that state of play? And maybe there's one. Like maybe there's one I'm not thinking of, but like what game looked like holy shit that looks like slop? I'm seriously asking, you know? And if it I don't know. It's just I'm just surprised, man. It feels more and more like we're living in a period of time, where when you get it wrong, they let you know. When you get it right, they still let you know you got it wrong. When you get it really right, they'll let you know even louder you still got it wrong. And that to me is what's becoming insufferable. Where it's like too many people with double standards are involved in the discourse and have poisoned the well for so many others where there is no winning. There will never be any winning. There are no W's or L's. There's only L's because they said so. And that to me is the shit that's like, this is just, it is sad and difficult to see like how much of this space has been eroded by that shit, garbage, clickbait, revenue driven mentality. That ad revenue driven mentality of just like, are you serious? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm serious. They're serious because they need it to be. But MBG, many people found one or two things they like. So the show ain't all that for them. How is it objectively? It's subjective. You can't label people like that without understanding their perspective. I mean, I can see their perspective. It's about getting people to just admit like a wider truth. Like, and this is what I've been struggling with, where it's like, it's why I'm having this conversation about the PS5, where it's like, you can tell me this is the worst PS5 generation. You can't tell me it's a bad generation. It's like, well, that's subjective. And it's like, if I were to list out the facts, like, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, here are all the games that Sony has released this gen. Here are all the games that were timed exclusives, second party exclusives. And then here's some of the biggest, most highly praised third party games this gen. Here are all the accessories and peripherals that Sony's released this gen. Here are all the updates they brought to the PS5 this gen. Here's every stated play and every showcase this gen. And it's just the idea that somebody would look at that and be like, yeah, that's bad. It's like, you're fucked, dude. Like, sorry, you are. And you're allowed to be. That's totally fine. But it's because I want to just point out in people, like, I just want them to admit it. And it's like, I actually have no problem with that. Like, just admit you don't like PlayStation. And there's really nothing they can do to make you like them. Just admit that. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But it's like, bro, this crazy hyperbole of like, they haven't done nothing this. It's like, what? Like, you haven't turned your fucking PS5 on, my friend. And you're equating that to they haven't done nothing this gen. I can't help you. You're not even helping yourself. As well, they got 13 exclusives. I'm like, bro, if you're out here being this vocal about how bad this gen is, because the only thing you've ever done, the only engagement you've ever had with Sony PlayStation and their consoles is you bought a console for 1 or 2 specific games and that's it. Again, that's totally fine. But it's like, why do you think you speak for the majority? You abso-fucking-lutely do not. Like, that's the craziness to me, is that these people think they speak for the majority. It's like, dude, the majority of people buy PlayStations and play a bunch of games on them. Like, a lot of people will only play a handful of games, of course. Games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, the sports games. I'm not saying that absolutely exists. And if anything, that is the majority. And if anything, the majority is totally content with the PS5, ironically enough. But outside of that, it's like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? I don't know, man. Again, maybe I'm completely fucking out of touch. And I accept that. I accept that. But I'm going to have my feelings on it, man. And my feeling on it is just simply like, look, I I am confused. Like, I have this question. I think it's so again, I think it makes sense if it's like, well, Sony, they did a better job during the PS2 era, in my opinion, or for it. I'm like, yeah, that I could see somebody definitely feeling that way. But like to go from that to, and so therefore, like, yeah, there hasn't been jack shit, and this has been horrible. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what do you mean? Huh? Like that's where my confusion sets in because that always follows. And I'm like, what do you I don't get it. Like the PS3 for a lot of people was considered the worst gen, especially up front. Now, granted, Sony made a big comeback, but it's like objectively, and this is objective, like the first 3 years of the PS5 were like 10 to 15 times stronger than the PS3's early years. And people were like, yeah, this gen sucks. I remember clear as day. Like we're 3 years into the gen, like this sucks. And I'm like, where were you during the early PS3 days? You know? I don't know. This gen is disappointing. The effing PlayStation 5 is disappointing. You have to be awake to this perception. Not saying you shouldn't like the PS5, but Sony fucked this gen up. Hmm. MBG, you're saying you want people to like Sony and yes, I want them to like Sony and to like PS5. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying okay, well, let me bring this up. It would probably help if I give you a little bit of context here. Because this is like I gotta hear his voices in my head. Hold on. Where is I think I have it. Yeah, here we go. Hold on one sec. While I have to move my camera just a little bit, make a little bit more space. I think. Sorry, guys. Yeah, why is it not showing up? I don't understand. I think I There we go. I got to move my camera over more actually. So, yeah, yesterday there was a lot and dude, this is far from the only post I've seen, man. There's so much. Dude, there's so like the people are having meltdowns over the idea of a PS6 coming. You know? People are having like and I get it. Like I get why some people are going to panic. But I have to remind people like Sony's not going to hold a gun to your head and say you got to upgrade, you son of a bitch, or I'm going to pull this trigger. Oh, that sucks, Gothmog. Why is it? So this post that this person put out went like viral yesterday. It's got almost like a million views. Now I don't know. Listen, I don't know who this person is, and this is nothing personal, like at all. But it really caught my attention. Not really what they're saying. What they're saying, I encounter this frequently. Like, okay. But it's more along the lines of the level, like, dude, 40,000 likes, 40 fucking K likes. Yo, somebody at Sony needs to get fired right fucking now. Hold on, why did it disappear? Somebody at Sony needs to get fired right now, bro. 40,000 fucking likes. That's crazy. That's crazy work right there. All right. But they say talk of a PS6 makes me physically ill. What do you even mean? Nothing has even happened with the PS5, and you want us to shell out another $600 or more for even fewer games. Oh my God, you must be joking. Stephen Nealer, you're saying some just don't want the feeling of FOMO for PS6. I think it has more to do with that. And that's ironic because it's like, I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. If you if you don't want Sony to drop the PS6 because you're afraid or it upsets you to any degree, like why? Why are you going to ask me to upgrade again? That's FOMO. Like the only reason you would have a problem with this is because you're afraid you're going to miss out on something. But I'm sorry, if nothing happened with the PS5, then were you afraid of missing out on? There's nothing to be afraid of missing out on. If nothing happened with the PS5, then nothing will happen with the PS6. So why are you upset? Something tells me this person says this for the same reason that the vast majority of people say it, because it's a popular thing to say. I saw somebody else put out a tweet. Dude, listen, you can't make this shit up, man. Listen, I saw a person who was one of the most hype motherfuckers you could see for the first 2 to 3 years of the PS5. They were hype. Sony exclusives, Sony games, Sony everything. Hype. Same person yesterday. Let's be real. Nobody wants a PS6 in 2027. Delay it. I'm like, bro, I thought you enjoyed the first 3 to 4 years of this gen. Was it all a lie? We were just lying? It was Bio. I'm busting his balls, man. But it's like, come on, bro. We gotta admit it. We gotta just admit it. Like, we are gonna be there no matter what. I'll take 2. Come on. No, but I mean, listen, I do feel like that's the weird disconnect I'm having. That's what I'm so perplexed by, and why I'm like, did I slip into a different time line or something? Because the hype got concorded. Yeah, maybe. Concord is when the timeline shift occurred. Yo, wait. No, but like, dude, I really start to feel this way because I'm like, dude, I was there. It's documented. It's documented on my fucking channel. You could go right now and look. It's documented on my channel. I was there in 2019 building up to the launch of the PS5. I was there in 2020 for the launch of the PS5. All of 2021, all of 2022, all of 2023, up until this point, I was there on the ground every single damn day of my life. Okay? And I am here to tell you, people were not talking like this. I am here to assure you, people were like, fuck yeah. Yeah. They were. It's all good, Tarnished. I lash out too. They were a hype. They were a hype, you know? And it wasn't even about false promises either. Like, no, they were hype at the, like, Demon Souls, Spider-Man, Sackboy and Big Adventure. They were losing their shit. I know, because I was there. Returnal, Ratchet. People were like orgasming over Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. People were losing it at Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West. They were losing GT7. They were losing their minds. And now, even as we're getting more games, yeah, nobody talks about Astrobot, right? People, what was Astrobot? Chopped liver? Get the fuck out of here. But now people are like, they didn't give us nothing. They didn't do jack fucking shit for us, man. Sony dropped the ball this entire gen. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is up with this bipolar ass, like, 1 minute we love it, the next we hate it? This is why corporations hate the market, because the market's fickle as all fuck, bro. I feel so sorry for these people whose job it is to figure out what is it that the people want these days. And it's like, hey, man, everything you did at the launch of the PS5 that you thought everybody loved because they all said they loved it, they all hate it now. It's like, why? It's like, I don't know. They just do. I don't know, man. And I want to make it clear, because I know I'm getting like defense mode here. I'm not saying Sony didn't fuck up. I got documentation on my channel of me losing my mind, worse than this, definitely worse than this, over Sony's fuck-ups. I will be the first person to tell you that if you thought the PS5 gen was good, you have no idea just how much better it could have been. I will be the first person to tell you that. So this isn't a matter of being like, Sony can do no wrong. The PS5 is the best gen. PS5 is ironclad. No. No, I don't. I also have fond memories of previous generations, and I look back and I see there's definitely aspects of the previous gens that Sony got better. They got it right more than they did this gen. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. Is just see, I'm like basically all I'm advocating for is, can we not make the PS5 the fucking black sheep? Like, that's basically what I'm pushing against. That's why I find this person's tweet just diabolical, bro. And the responses underneath it are even more diabolical, where it's like, you guys are talking as if previous PlayStation generations have been great, which they have been, and as if the PS5 generation has been some kind of shit stain. And I'm like, bro, I've just posted some gameplay of God of War Ragnarok this morning on my Twitter. And I'm like, God damn. God damn. That game still slaps. Slaps hard. I'm like, that looks like some of the best gameplay I've seen this gen. But that's the thing, man, is like, I feel like the people that I'm arguing with right now, you got to leave Twitter. I know. Like I said, it's just gonna be one long crash out. It's like I've been saying, man. I feel like the people I'm arguing with, they'll be like, oh, you think MBG, you think God of War Ragnarok gameplay is good? Oh, bro, you can tell my blood pressure's up. My face is getting all red. Why am I getting this worked up? You want to know why? Because I'm about to smash this Xbox Series S toaster with this hammer. You want to know what a bad gen looks like? I'm going to show you. Gaming Survivor's like, hell yeah. Get the folding, get the sledgehammer. I'm calm. I swear I'm calm. I may not seem like it. I'm getting red in the face. Unleash the rod. I'm about to unleash the rod, bro. You don't want me. You don't want me to unleash Rich Rod. It ain't going to be pretty. Rich Rod and Gaming Survivor. Oh man, Gaming Survivor is literally going to roll up in his. He's going to roll up in his Judge Dredd cosplay, and yes, he is going to let you know I am the law. Now Irfin's getting angry. I'm making people angry. MBG, the PS5 is literally about to hit 100 million sold. How can it happen without games, you dumb fucks? Yo, Irfin's about to roundhouse a motherfucker. Michael, very calmly, Michael says, now in all seriousness, I think I'm getting hot because I'm sitting under the vent and I'm wearing this hoodie and it's actually kind of warm out today. Like, why couldn't I crash out like this on a day where it's like -3 degrees outside and it's freezing in this room? It has to be on a day where it's actually kind of warm. Michael, you're saying, I think a big part of it was mid-generation. They canceled a lot of games, which made it feel like a drought for PlayStation Studios. And I agree to an extent, right? Like, that's where some of my biggest crash outs towards PlayStation happened at that time, where, I mean, I was like, bro, what have you done? And there was this, we were like going down every studio. I remember there was this one stream I did where we were talking about like 7+ games canceled, and I was losing my mind. Now, granted, a lot of these games were like live service. And, you know, again, I've called out things like Sony closing down London studio, unacceptable. That shouldn't have happened. You know, closing down, Japan studio, that was it seems like that studio was like a shit show, but it was an artistic shit show that held a special place in a lot of PlayStation fans' hearts. So I totally understand. Like, if that reduced this gen for you by a lot, I get that, because Japan Studio was always producing these weird. I mean, they were producing some bigger stuff too, but they were always really known for these kind of more strange, quirky type games. But you know, there's been a myriad of things that have happened this gen that I do believe should make somebody go, maybe it is too soon for the PS6 and this gen hasn't fully peaked yet. That's what it should do. Not this hyperbolic nonsense, man, that I encounter it all the time. All the time, dude. Even when I'm just trying to be somewhat positive about something that I think is actually good, I encounter they're like, nah, man. And I just start to question, like, how much of this is real versus how much of it is just this is literally just a popular thing to say and do. Therefore, you're going to see a lot of people saying and doing it. Subtext with the $10 chat says, I'm happy with the games themselves. The games in PS5's first 3 years beat PS4's in my opinion, but the live service push, news droughts, cancellations, and cross-platform transition made it feel less exciting. And that's fair. That's totally fair. See, I appreciate what you just said, Subtext, because you're not just viewing it through a singular lens. You're looking at the whole thing. You know, you're acknowledging that there have been a lot of great games, and in your opinion, those games have made the beginning of this gen even better than the last gen. But you're also acknowledging the things that, like, yeah, here's like a small list of things, like a laundry list of things that Sony did that really held this generation back and created a more suppressed or negative feeling. That's fair. Like, what I'll say, Subtext, is that if this was the tweet I was looking at, I wouldn't even be doing the stream. Instead, I'd be like, yeah, I think you're totally right. Absolutely. Like that's you're acknowledging both sides of the playing field here, you know? Both sides of the coin, I should say. And I appreciate that. And that's, at the end of the day, that's really all I'm asking people to do. I think sometimes people get this misconception, and I get it because sometimes I get a little bit silly with it. I'm not saying like you need to say I'm not saying you need to like the PS5. I'm not saying you need to like PlayStation. I'm not saying you need to tell me the PS5 is great and this gen has been amazing. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying you can't be saying this shit and expect me to not call it out and you know, be like, what are you talking about? You know, like, and I get it's like Twitter. What do I expect? I don't expect anything better. But it's the reason why it catches my attention so much is because I don't see this just on Twitter. I see this all over my YouTube channel sometimes. Nothing has even happened with the PS5. What do you mean? I need that. That line right there, nothing has even happened with the PS5. And that's the basis for why we should not upgrade to the PS6. What do you mean? I need elaboration on that. Because something tells me the moment this person begins to elaborate, the whole thing comes down. It starts to make too much sense. Where we're only 5 years into the gen. The gen hasn't peaked. Sony has some of their best games coming. Like, I also just love how people are pretending that things aren't happening right now. Nothing has even happened. Like, bitch, have you been did you fucking I'm gonna slap a bitch. Like, bro, I'm sorry. Is Wolverine just literally like trash, garbage, dumpster fire, dumpster juice? Like, what do you mean nothing? Like, even if nothing has happened, what about the things that are about to go down? I'm gonna slap a bitch. I'm just kidding. No violence. Where's Rich? Where is Rich? Are you kidding me? Nate, with a super chat, says the facts. Output has been slow. Live service push was a disaster. Most PS users only have COD, 2K, etc. installed. Xbox becoming a publisher has marred competition and lowered pressure to do well. Those are all facts. I will counter with my own. Nate, you son of a bitch. Nate, coming at me with facts like that? I'm going to counter with my own set of facts, okay? Nate, you're an Xbot. Fact. I'm kidding. Nate's cool, bro. Nate's cool, all right? I will try to counter it, though. So, output has been slow. Agreed. However, quality not diminished. Quality arguably higher than ever. Arguably. But at the very least, we can set on high quality. Slower output, but still very high quality. Okay? Live service push was a disaster. I mean, I can't, that's a tough fact, man. I agree. That I do agree. In the bigger picture, it has been a disaster. I cannot deny that. But if I were to try to throw in, I guess you could say, a supplemental fact to help ease the sting of that fact, we did get Helldivers 2. And that's one of the biggest multiplayer games of the generation. And I mean, I put over 120 hours into it and loved it. So, you know, that doesn't make it everything okay. That doesn't mean it wasn't a disaster, but I think it helps take a little bit of the sting away. So it's like, well, at least we got that. So there is a consolation to that. Okay. But yeah, the live service thing, way too much time and resource spent on that. That I think definitely you could. That's I think what you could feel the effect of the most. Um, you're saying most PlayStation users only have Call of Duty 2K, etc. installed. This is a tough. I mean, that is a fact, but it would be disingenuous to imply that that's not something that's been factual since pretty much day one, every generation. You know, well, I don't know how far. I don't know if that would necessarily be because Call of Duty didn't even exist in the PS1. But for most gens, you know what I mean? Like most people who are buying consoles, like, you know, for example, some of the biggest selling games on PS2 or some of the biggest driving games were like games like GTA and Madden and stuff like that. And that just continued with PS3, with Call of Duty being thrown in there, then with PS4 with Fortnite. So that is a fact. But I have to say that I don't think that's a fact that helps strengthen a potential argument of, hey, I think this gen has been bad. But it is a fact. You are right about that. And you're saying Xbox becoming a publisher has marred competition and lowered pressure to do well. That I do agree with. I do think that one of the worst outcomes one of the things we're gonna look back on with this gen and be like, that sucks. Bigger picture wise, is that right? It's that Xbox isn't going to be bringing the heat, so to speak, to the PS6. So we have to now hope that Sony is not going to get, too froggy, I guess we could say, with them kind of it being in a position of strength and leading the console market alongside Nintendo. With Nintendo possibly being a much lesser competitive force. But I will add to that though, Nate. I do think that even though Xbox is kind of checked out competition wise, Sony, I don't think Sony would be that worried about Microsoft, even if they weren't right now, because what Sony needs to worry about is what everybody else has to worry about, where it's like the competition in the room is not other companies and other corporations, but AI data centers and rising costs of components and how are we not going to price people out and maintain a profitable business? So it feels like one thing left, another thing took its place, and this other thing that took its place is even more uh, concerning, to a degree. Slimy or slim. I don't know if it's slimy or slimmy. I'm going to say slimmy. Says, as someone who is a younger gamer, the PS5 was the first console I purchased myself and invested in a gen myself. This gen will likely always be my favorite. And that's an interesting perspective. That's not one I see often. And I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by the idea of the PS5 gen being the first real gen somebody gets deeply invested in, being a little bit younger. That's yeah. So it's just gonna be you're gonna be here like 20 years later, be like the PS5 gen was the best. I'm gonna be there older, being like, yes, he gets it. Check this out though. So, uh, look at some of these replies on the street, dude. It's crazy. I got Twitter. So I haven't read most of these replies, just to be clear, but I've come across a few. I got Twitter, followed Wario64 to get a PS5 because of scalpers, and then literally nothing good ever came out. I played Cyberpunk, and that was pretty much it. Don't you love that? Look, dude, this can't. Twitter's not real, bro. Oh my god, dude, we're fucking cooked. We are cooked. I'm going to read it one more time. And then literally nothing good came out. Bro, this guy insinuates that he bought a PS5 in 2020 and is out here earnestly saying, he uses the word literally. I know we need to take a step back. We need to stop using the word literally. Literally is the most overused word in society right now, and it needs to stop because the vast majority of people using it don't know what it means, and they're using it wrong. And if they are using it right, I see diabolical a lot less. In this instance, if this person knows what the word literally actually means, then they sound stupid. And maybe that's done on purpose. Maybe they want to sound stupid. But it's like, and then literally nothing good ever came out. Come on, this has got to be a troll thread. Am I getting high key trolled? You mentioned Cyberpunk. Like, that's it. That's it. That's the only good video game that has come out in the last 5 years. Are you literal right now, bro? I'm going to stop asking if people are serious, and I'm just going to start asking, are you literal? Are you being literal right now? St. John. Was that Deacon St. John? Next up, Chris. I'm going to make these people. I bought a PS5 in 2019. This isn't real. It's not real. It's not real. That's it. That's it right there. That's it right there. This is a fake thread. I've been trolled. This isn't real. Bro said he got a PS5 in 2019. How'd that motherfucker get it a year before everybody else? I'm done. I am done. Hold on. Wait. Does he have a blue check mark? They all have blue check marks. You know what, though? The original poster doesn't have a blue check mark. The original poster doesn't have it. That's incredible, man. MBG, so is literally in the room with us right now? Always. MBG, are the trolls in the room with you right now? Oh, man. Bro said he got a PS5 in 2019. You don't say. I'll read the rest, though, because this one has 1,000 people like this post. 1,000 people said that checks out. He said jack shit came out. Wait, so you're telling me in 2019, when the PS5 didn't release, jack shit came out with it? I am struggling to follow. Help me. Jack shit is my game of the year. He says, jack shit came out. I think I played Astrobot, Final Fantasy 16, Ratchet & Clank, and Demon's Souls Remake. 6 years and 4 exclusive titles worth my time. I sold that shit last year, and I did not miss it. PC... And there it is. There it is. PC gaming for life. PC gaming for life. Bro's got it tatted on his ass. Wait, whoa. So you're telling me I'm dealing with somebody here who said they got They got a PS5 in 2019. They somehow got their hands on this console a year before everybody else, but then ends their entire post by saying PC for life. So it was PC for life the whole time. The whole time. Oh man. Imagine thinking so I don't know if this is going to be a comment worth reading. It has like 27 upvotes. Imagine thinking $600 spread over an 8-year cycle is a financial crisis instead of just basic adulting. There are literally thousands of games in the library, but I guess you've already 100% completed all of them in between your shifts at, oh wait, you don't even have a job. If $60 a year for a hobby makes you physically ill, maybe the problem isn't the console, it's your bank account. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to upgrade, so you can keep clutching your PS5 until it becomes a vintage relic. The rest of us will be busy enjoying the quote fewer games while you work on your budgeting skills. God damn, holy shit, he just lit that person up. Fucking brokey. Listen. Normally, I would tell you there it is. They're getting their rage bait engagement. The person who posted the original post doesn't have a check mark. They're not getting paid for this. They're doing it for the love of the game. Headshot. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, imagine spending $600 every 8 years. The travesty. Congrats, you are part of the psyop. Oh my God, we got motherfuckers out here. Maybe it is a psyop. Maybe that's why I'm becoming crazy. If these companies had it their way, a console generation would last 20 years. Do you know how much money they lose at the start of each launch? Usually that's true. Yeah, I think that's changing. Well, at the very least, the company's mentality towards it has changed, but that's true. It's very expensive to start a new gen. Yeah, that's like a terrible secret that most people don't know, is that Sony actually doesn't want to keep making new consoles. I'm serious. Seriously. I remember like a while ago, Sony CEO was asked like, so are we getting more consoles? And we're like, well, it seems like we still have to do another gen. So yeah. And I'm like, oh, I thought you guys just did it for fun. I thought you liked doing this. You're like, no, it turns out it's just business. Corey, what's up, man? I refuse to read all of this Twitter sludge. You're gonna take it. Take the Twitter sludge. Take it. All right. Somebody says, do people just browse PSN with their eyes closed? I've never understand the PS5 has no games thing when we're constantly just bombarded with new shit to play every other day. I mean, I agree. Thank God. There's some reason. There's some level of reason here. You know? Oh, this is a long one. Okay, so this person's got 49,000 views and over 500 upvotes. The PS6 is a console no one will buy because it is unnecessary. Developers still haven't used the full potential of PS5. Many are still making games for both PS4 and PS5. There's simply no room in the market for PS6. There are, even today, games still being released for PS4. PS5 owners will not upgrade. PS6. That's what they should name it. PS6 may be a big loss of money for Sony. So I think this person's comment is actually worth evaluating. And Corey the Legend comes in. He says, oi, and then he drops 5 membership gifts for you guys. He opens the 5-pack. Corey, thank you so much for that, man.
I'm no hero. Never was.
Let me add that big hole. Yeah, appreciate you guys past couple days hitting not 1 but 2 goals. The past 2 streams we went over 50 memberships. Thank you so much for that. We'll keep it. We'll try to keep it going. If we can hit the 25 today, we'll feed the beasts. I don't currently see any down here though. Where are they? Oh wait, no, there's Luna. Luna's just totally camouflaged with my black wall over there. I literally only saw her eyes. Um, I mean, I do think that what this person is saying is a real concern for Sony. This is what I've been talking about for a long time. Is that the worst thing that Sony could have happen is the PS6 announced and launching in like 6 or 8 months, and people are like, I don't need it. That's the worst thing that Sony could have happen. And I think that's a real, genuine possibility depending on where we are. I don't think people would say I don't need a PS6 because they don't want it per se. I think if anything, it's like, yeah, if a PS6 is going to be more expensive at launch than a PS5, but the upgrades, the diminishing returns are starting to show themselves where this does look better, this does run better, all this is better, but it doesn't necessarily change the fact that the PS5 and PS5 Pro are still looking real good and running games real good. That's going to be a really tough thing for Sony to overcome. And that's where people bring up the conversation of exclusivity, like that Sony's got to go crazy with the exclusives. The exclusives would create the FOMO. A lot of people feel so negatively about, well, I don't know if it's a lot, but they feel so negatively because of the lack of true exclusives. But I don't know if Sony would kind of like, I don't know that Sony would forego cross-gen for something like that, Below that, we have you console brokies are bottlenecking gaming graphics for the rest of us, aka the PC Master Race. Bro, PC Master Race? The vast majority of PC players have a fucking rig equivalent to a PS4. You dumb asshole. I'm sorry. It's not a safe for work stream, okay? But come on. Next. I'm just I don't hold on. This person says, I'm not buying another console. Those things are basically a ripoff at this point. Graphics are barely improving, games cost too much, and they're all telling me the same story more or less. I'll pass. Okay. I mean, damn, dude, that's a level of jaded that I don't even know that I could argue that. Like, I don't agree at all, but it's like, all right, bro. Okay. He's right. Accurate. Bro, what? Wait, you guys are agreeing? They're basically a ripoff at this point. Wait, why? Oh, so okay, well, you say the graphics are barely improving. I can agree with that. That's going to be, I'm telling you, that right there, that's what's going to kill consoles. Console generations, I mean. The console, I think, will always exist. But that right there, graphics are barely improving. I mean, dude, when people talk about PS1 to 2, 2 to 3, even 3 to 4, I mean, the leaps were very demonstrable. Especially early on, where it's like, holy shit, like that's next gen. I don't know what Sony can do. And this is why Xbox is probably like, we're not even going to fucking try. Xbox is like, we ain't even going to try, bro. But what can Sony do? Because what this guy is implying, a lot of people agree with him. I think this is fair. Like, he's not, I think this person's actually being kind of reasonable. I don't agree with them fully, but with the graphics thing, they're implying that if Sony shows them a PS6 that's like so graphically nuts that it's like, oh my God, that does look next gen, that he would actually be on board. And that's where I'm like, the ball's in your court, Sony. PlayStation Studios. Listen, hey, Sony, you might be able to make that happen if you forego cross-gen. If you say, all our studios that make PS6 games, we don't want a PS5 version. We want you to max the fuck out of the PS6 and make these graphics so damn good that it's undeniable. Unless they choose to do that, unfortunately, I don't think Sony's going to be able to show a game Because I'm trying to think, like, if we assume like Venom, right? There's a Venom game in development. If we assume, yeah, well, yeah, I mean, what he's saying is applicable to all of gaming, pretty much. I mean, yeah, he's using the vector of consoles, but probably because of the post he's responding to. The ceiling, yeah. Well, I mean, dude, that's the thing. People will tell you like we have not hit the ceiling on graphics. It's just where we are technologically now. It's like in order to produce what we would consider a true next gen leap, we'd probably have to wait another like 5 to 6 years, and then on seeing what games could look like at that point, then we'd be like, oh shit, okay, is making the PS5 look like a fucking PS2 over here. Um, so that's that is another potential argument as to like why you want to delay the PS6, but Sony's already got these contracts locked in, and there's also the possibility of the PS5 sales wise stagnating. If the PS, as much as Sony doesn't want to keep doing multiple generations of console, they kind of have to if it's their business model, where it's like, yeah, once sales start stagnating, we gotta jumpstart another gen. And telling you, the PS6 is going to be super fascinating to watch. Saying path tracing, not graphics, needs to be improved. Perhaps, yeah. I mean, a lot of really good looking games already look basically photorealistic. Um, Somebody here says PS6 shouldn't release until 2028 at the earliest, and even that feels wrong. If it drops in 2027, I might not get it at release. Got PS4 and PS5 at release, but can't justify getting PS6 release if it's that soon. That's a totally reasonable take. Like that might be the most reasonable thing I've seen in this entire thread so far, where it's like that's the person is not saying they are completely opposed to PS5 or sorry, PS6. I think they're just pointing out something that's fairly obvious for a lot of people, which is it might be too soon. It might be too soon, and even I agree with that. To be clear, I agree with the whole fundamental idea. Just to be clear, now I'm like losing my shit. I do think 2027 at this point is too soon for the PS6. I'm okay if that's what Sony wants to do, but I do agree. Like Sony, if you're looking to maximize hype and interest, 27 is too soon. 28 might be the sweet spot. Might still be a little too soon, depending. But I do think 27 is just, yeah, it's good. I think for even for people who did enjoy the generation, I think it's going to feel a little bit like whiplash. Like whoa, hold on, because I mean, look, I loved like the majority of this gen, and I'm saying this as somebody who loved the majority of this gen. That if Sony drops a PS6 in 27, I'll be there. But I'm just gonna let Sony know, like, hey man, I've been enjoying this gen. I just bought a PS5 Pro November 2024, and I'm about to be playing Resident Evil 9 on that shit, and it's gonna look glorious. It's like, if you want to push it by a year, hell, even 2 years, I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. Sony's not gonna listen to me. So Sony's like, who? Sony's gonna turn to me and be like, why are you gay? Somebody else says here, just a few months ago, PS5 finally got more players active than PS4. The PS5 needs a good 5 years more. No one wants to upgrade. Somebody else says the problem is game development time. Every game takes like 5 to 7 years now. That's an entire console gen. They need to change how long they expect generations to last or lower game dev time, which is way worse. That's true too. The game dev time is another issue. Let's see. What? I'm what? Console generation should be 10 years. I don't know what that picture was, bro. I should probably chill out. I don't know what I'm going to end up scrolling across. All right. If we go back to my response though, so I came across this tweet, and I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting on. It's not a big deal. Like, who cares? It's Twitter. I was really considering not posting this because I'm like, I already know. I already know. It's me. It's MBG. Like, dude, I could tell you the sky is blue. People are gonna fight me. They're like, are you an idiot? What are you, an idiot? MBG, you are. So I'm not. You know. Yeah, I got people talking. So what I said in response is, how can you go onto the PlayStation Store and walk away with this conclusion or the recent state of play? What about the overwhelming lineup of games coming this year? I'm telling you, man, most people complaining about the PS5 either don't have one or bought one at launch and used it for 3 months. And I know that's a bit combative, but I meant that, man. Like, I mean that. I'm like, dude, how? It's one thing to say I don't want a PS6 because the PS5 is fine. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to say I don't want a PS6 because the PS5 didn't do nothing. And I'm like, you're not gaming on the PlayStation. Like, you don't use your PS5. And you might say, well, Sony doesn't give me a reason to use the PS5, but it's like, what about the rest of us? What about the people who have been playing on PS5 for years? What about the people who do check out the PlayStation Store and see all the overwhelming amount of games that are available? You know? That's all I'm trying to convey here is that, like, it's shocking to me that posts like this from this person go viral with so many people agreeing with it, and it's like, okay. But some of the replies I got were even more interesting. Well, this person says they have 23 games that are exclusive. Silent Hill, Marvel's Wolverine, Ghost of Yotei. They're 100% coming to PC, so no longer exclusive. And honestly, I doubt even God of War stays PS5 only. PS5 needs exclusives. 50 Plus Gamer says these people don't even game. My backlog is a mile long. 50 Plus Gamer gets it. This person says the real issue is that tech hasn't advanced enough to justify the PS6. The gap in actual real performance between PS5 and PS6 is going to be little to nothing. Maybe some fake AI frames. A lot of people haven't even converted from PS4 still. PC is having the same issue. People aren't upgrading for 2 to 3 generations of CPU/GPU now. Again, that to me, like, yes, you get it. Like, that person gets it. Like, if people are not going to upgrade to the PS6, it's not because they're like, oh, there's nothing to play. They're not going to upgrade to the PS6 because they're going to see what Sony shows and be like, I don't know, man. Like, that looks good and better, but still looks pretty damn good on my PS5. That's, guys, I'm telling you, the biggest question mark here. The biggest fucking question mark is what Sony plans to do with exclusivity. That to me is the big, because if you, I want you to think about this. Sony's obviously paying attention to this stuff. Like, they have to. They have to pay attention to it because their prerogative is we have to sell PS5 or PS6s when we launch it. Like, that way we have to do that. And if you're Sony right now, you're looking at all this and your big thing here. The big thing that Sony has to do is, how do we win these people over? How do we get the people that are comfortable on PS5 and don't want to upgrade, or even the people that are completely against upgrading? How do we ever get through to them? And that's where Sony might end up. I'm not saying I anticipate it, because it would be strange, because it would be such a aggressive, sharp pivot. But it wouldn't be unprecedented because it's what they've done pretty much almost every generation. Sony could kind of walk back and be like, you know what? On second thought, we're going crazy with the exclusives. And I mean, like, no cross-gen. We are going to force you now. Now, that's risky because people might be like, yo, what the fuck? That might, like, that's super risky, because that you can't really, it's going to be so hard for Sony to pull something like that off after this entire generation telegraphing like we are embracing cross-gen. We are putting games on PC. We're cool, we're going to get some more sales. If they just like suddenly turn back around and they're like every game, like imagine if the PS6 showcase comes, even if it's next year. Like let's just say they don't delay it. The PS6 showcase comes and they're like every single PlayStation Studios title you see revealed here today is a PS6 exclusive. Only on PS6. They bring it back only on PS6. And they do this because they feel like, yes, this is how we create the FOMO. This is how when somebody says, I don't really see a big enough leap, so therefore I'm not going to upgrade. But then you tell them, oh, that's okay. This game isn't coming in PS5 anyway. Then it might not be about the graphical update, grade. Again, that's a risky situation because you might make people really fucking mad. But I don't know, man. Sony has, there's a precedence here. There is a precedence here where Sony has absolutely, between the PS1 and the PS4, the only on PlayStation moniker is what drove the beginnings of those generations. Sony's going to need something big. Like I don't see it any other way. I don't see that. I think the PS6, it will sell up front just, with the enthusiast fan. There's a big enough fan base for PlayStation that will buy it no matter what. But in order for it to be successful in the same way that the PS4 and the PS5 have been, they need something big. And when I sit here and I evaluate the playing field, man, and I do my armchair analysis of like everything that Sony has, everything I know about their business right now, the PlayStation business, their studios, the IP that they're leveraging and all this, I'm like, Sony, I look, there's a lot I don't know. I don't know what the PS6 is actually going to be capable of. I don't know what Mark Cerny's actually cooking up. But if I assume that there isn't going to be some kind of major bombshell, like, and the PS6 can do this, I'm assuming that doesn't exist. It might, but I don't know if it will. I look at the options and I'm like, Sony, you might have to go back to aggressive exclusivity. People are going to be upset, but they'll buy it. As long as it's an affordable price point, they'll buy it. But I'll tell you right now, there's a major potential pitfall with that. That could be short-term thinking, right? Okay, what about all the people playing live service games? What about all the people who are buying Call of Duty yearly? What about those players? They're not going to, exclusivity or not, they're not moving. So, I don't know, man. Mark Cerny's got his, dude, Mark Cerny, not even just Mark Cerny, Sony's marketing team, God help them when it's time to reveal the PS6. They got to be on, they got to lock the fuck in, man. Because selling people on the PS6 is not going to be nearly as easy as it was for the PS4 or 5. That's probably half the fucking reason Jim Ryan retired, because he's like, yeah, I'm not. So why do you think Andrew House and all those guys, Jack Trenton, they all retire after the PS4 is a success because they're like, okay, well, good luck with the PS5, Jim. That's yours now. And Jim made it happen with the PS5, and now Jim's like, Hideaki Nishino, good luck, my friend. It's all you. We'll see, though. We got some more replies here to go through, though. We got, let's see. This person says, I've been a Sony pony for the majority of my life. I love the PS5, but I think it's a reasonably fair assessment that the system doesn't have a lot of games, specifically from the stance of first-party exclusives. There have been 24 PS5 exclusives, and half a dozen of those are first party. And that's fair. That's fair. I think that's where you see the ugly reality, potentially ugly reality, depending on how you view it. That's where you see the reality of game dev cycles have been. I mean, dude, again, the greatest example of this. See, this is why I feel like I am fair in my assessment of PS5 ultimately. Where I'm not telling you it's all amazing. I'm not saying it's all sunshine and rainbows, bro. The greatest example of this is Naughty Dog, where we went from with the PS3, Naughty Dog dropping 4 fucking games. Uncharted 1 through 3 and The Last of Us being a closer. 4 games in a single gen. We went from that to what did they deliver? 2 games, right? Was it 2 games? I think during the PS4 gen, to delivering 0 games. I'm talking new games, by the way. I'm not counting remasters or remakes. Well, that's why I said 2, because I'm only counting Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4. And Lost Legacy was sold as a kind of like smaller standalone. We could say like 1.5 games. We'll just say 2 games. But the point is, you see a massive cut down. Oh, and fuck yeah, The Last of Us 2. What am I smoking? They got me all fucked up, bro. We don't talk about that game. We ain't counting The Last of Us Part 2. No, my bad. You're right. You're absolutely right. Holy shit. I just straight up overlooked The Last of Us Part 2. I'm just as bad as them. Oh my God, this is PSYOP. It's working. Now I'm just ignoring games as if they don't even exist. Okay, so we went from 4 games to basically 2.5 games. You know? I know, and I even said The Last of Us 1. To this gen, so far, 0 games. And I do believe Naughty Dog is the singular example of everything that went wrong with the PS5 generation. Like, if it's like, okay, MBG, you've had a lot of good things to say about this gen. You've had a lot of praise, but what about the bad? And I'll say, look no further than Naughty Dog. 0 new games released. Too many remasters and remakes to fill the gaps. A live service game that would have been awesome but got canceled, and that's where they spent 4 years of development. And total mismanagement across the board. And their new game, if we're lucky, will apparently come out the year the PS6 is supposed to come out. Naughty Dog is the epitome of everything that Sony did wrong this gen. And there's no denying that. Doesn't mean that they're not going to make more games. It doesn't mean that their games that they will make won't be awesome. It just is a reality that Naughty Dog went from PS3 gen, 4 new games, PS4 gen, 2.5 new games, to PS5 gen, no new games. Those are the cold hard facts. And it's a tough pill to swallow, because you have to ask yourself, like, how does that happen? And that is Intergalactic isn't just a victim of an extended, bloated development cycle where it's like games take too long to release. They take 5 to 7 years. Yeah, that's true in a lot of cases, especially for new IP. But we also have to remember that they spent a lot of time and energy on other things prior to Intergalactic that unfortunately just didn't end up working out. And so because of that, Intergalactic ends up taking even longer. And so I'm not, this isn't me trying to dogpile on Naughty Dog. It's just, this is where you have to try to imagine how different the perception of the PlayStation generation would be for the 5 if instead of The Last of Us Part 1, I'm not even going to count The Last of Us Part 2 remastered because that was always going to happen, but no Last of Us Part 1, no Uncharted remaster for Uncharted 4. Instead, it's new game 3 years into the PS5. Intergalactic 2023, early 2024. And then we're going to close out the gen with a second game. It's stuff like that didn't happen, is not happening, and I think it would have helped change people's perception. unfortunately, that hindrance, this is where when we talk about, because like this person says, this person isn't saying that the PS5 didn't have games. They're not even saying they didn't have great games. They're just saying that the overall volume feels like it wasn't what it could have been. And that is because of the live, unfortunately, it is the live service push that it's not just Naughty Dog that we didn't get a new game from. It's Sony Bend. It's Bluepoint. It's Media Molecule. You know what I mean? Those are just 4 studios off the top of my head. I'm sure there's some others, London studio, gone. I don't count Santa Monica. Santa Monica did drop Ragnarok. That was a banger. But that's like 5 PlayStation studios I just listed that we could have had games from by this point, and we didn't. And it's because they were all tasked with making live service, and Media Molecule being the one that actually did it first, and it didn't work. And that's where, there's just no denying that if Sony wasn't so hyper fixated on everything being so aggressive, then we could be looking, like when I make a list of all the games I played this gen, because I played some amazing games this gen, a lot of which, or at least a good portion of those, came from first-party PlayStation studios or partners. There's no denying that list would be greatly enhanced and padded with, and the new Naughty Dog game, and the new Media Molecule game, and the new Sony Bend game, Days Gone 2, for fuck's sake, Blue Point's next remake. Like, there's just no denying that these things have been mismanaged, these studios. I don't think that's an excuse to be hyperbolic and say the PS5 gen's the worst and has been absolute trash. They ain't got nothing. I don't think it's that. I think a real, actual, reasonable thing to say is the PS5 gen has been either okay to good, right? Like if we're just being completely fair about it, like pretty okay. Could have been a lot better. I think that's the fairest assessment. For somebody like me, I accept that me feeling particularly good, like I think it was good because there was a lot of games I did enjoy. I understand. I can accept that, like, I'm the outlier to a degree. It's like, well, yeah, you MBG, you did like Returnal, you did like Ratchet and Clank, you did like Astrobot, you did like Helldivers 2. You liked almost everything that Sony put out this gen. So for me, it feels like I got a lot. But for a lot of people, they didn't like this, or that, and they were hoping for that, and this to be there instead, and they just were gone. So I feel like I can be reasonable with these conversations where I do believe that the overall output could have been significantly better. And if it was, you'd have a much higher chance of pleasing a larger group of people. And I think that would alter the perception overall. What great game did you play this gen that you can't play on PC? But that's the thing. Like, that doesn't bother me. I'm sure. Maybe Demon Souls. Demon Souls was amazing. But that, to me, that's not the important thing anymore. And I'm not sure why it would be to people. Like, I think people come at this from many different angles. Like, let's move on to this one here. This. Look at how many. This right here. I gotta know where these fucking numbers are coming from. I mean, dude, I need to, like, why did the PS2 have 514 exclusives? What? I know that ain't from Sony. What's going on there? I'm being serious. Like, dude, what's going on there? What? Like, were games just not being ported anywhere else? Because that's crazy. And the PS1's looking nuts too. So I don't know what to say about those two. But this, to me, This to me is crazy. Third party exclusives. Dude, that's wild. 13, like, bro, we're really going to do this. And you better believe this right here is the crux of my crash out, practically. Where I have been gaslit to the moon and back 3 times over, my friends. I am the same person that has to deal with people screeching at me. Exclusives are bad, you stupid Sony pony bitch. Okay, exclusives are bad. We don't like them. We don't want them. They're toxic and damaging to the industry. We hate exclusives, and you are a loser fanboy for caring about exclusives. But then, when we talk about this generation, what's one of the first things that people bring up as a reason? Let me tell you why the PS5 sucks ass. Let me tell you. They ain't got no exclusives. So it sucks if it's got exclusives. It sucks if it doesn't have exclusives. What are we doing? But here's the thing. If you look at that number 13, why do you think it's 13? Do you think it's because that's all that you got 13 games this gen? No, it's 13 because this is the generation Sony decided we're going to start putting games on PC. That's why. And that person who said to me earlier, like, you know, what great game did you play on PS5 that you can't play on PC? Like, dude, I'm not worried about that. Like, we've been through this. I've made it clear. I can't speak for anybody else out there. I'm not trying to speak for anybody. But if Sony wants to put their games on PC, so be it. Like, that's not going to make me be like, well, I'm going to go play on PC now. I'm not doing that. I don't want a PC game. I think there's tens of millions of people clearly that aren't going to go to PC gaming. They prefer console for one reason or another. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what the reason is. The point is they're not gaming on PC. You think one day I'll make the switch? I mean, I doubt that, man. I doubt that. Like, I would only, I think, ever go to PC if it's like, if this is really all that's left. I would go to PC before Nintendo, though. I can say that. I can say that definitively. Unless Nintendo makes a normal fucking console one day. So I would go to PC before Nintendo. But I'm just saying, man, that, like, the third, like, I just, which is it? Like, which is it? Sony needs to do exclusives so the PS5 can feel good? Or they shouldn't do exclusives because exclusives are bad and anybody who likes them is toxic to the industry. That's why I feel like this is the most gaslighting post ever. Because it's like when I sit here and say, like, I list all these reasons why the PS5 gen has been good. Or like I list reasons like the PS Store is you're flooded with more games than you ever have before. Like, your options are larger than they've ever been. You know, you have more options at your disposal than ever before is what I mean to say. We just had an amazing state of play. Right? Like, with some amazing first-party games. 2026 is looking like a literal bonkers year for games. Not just exclusively to PlayStation, but if you're on PlayStation, it's looking fucking nuts. And it's like, they only got 13 exclusives, bro. That's why. And it's like, so let me get this straight. You want me to believe that the only reason previous PlayStation generations were considered good was because of games that you could only play on those consoles. But you also want me to not brag and be excited about games that are only releasing on one console. This is what I do. This is why I've given up. I've given up where it's like, this is the epitome of you lose no matter what. Surprise, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And that's why, in conclusion, I'm deleting my Twitter. No, I'm not deleting it. But in conclusion, it's just like, Sony, I think, should just do whatever the fuck they need to do, whether that's exclusivity or not. My biggest thing here is, if I guess my biggest thing is like, if this was true, if the insinuation here was true, and this gets into some interesting territory. If the insinuation here is that exclusives are what make a console good and what make it considered, in the eyes of the player, like a success, it's what makes people care about the console. Right? And so the insinuation here is that the PS5 has been a shit gen because it's only got 13 exclusives. My question is, then why is it selling so well? And I'm being dead ass serious right now. I'm going to need somebody to, I'm going to need an answer to that question. Like, oh yeah, 13 exclusives, that's trash, bro. Why is it still selling so well? Don't give me none of that nonsense that it's the only option. It's far from the only option. You could go anywhere else. You could go to Xbox. You could go to Nintendo. You could go to PC. There's way more options for PC than ever before. Why? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. If the PS5 gen is bad because only 13 exclusives, why is the market reaction not matching that statement? There are more people in the world than ever before. Gothbog, I love it. I love that, bro. That's the best. That's the best one. That's the best answer I've seen so far. Because you know what? You, by God, man, you might be right. You might be right. There's more people in the world than ever before, and that's what makes up that gap. I love that. That's so funny, dude. And Musashi, you're saying Capcom is holding the whole industry on their back with Pragmata, RE9, Monster Hunter, Dragon's Dogma 2, Onimusha reboot, Okami 2, and a new Mega Man. God damn, Musashi. You motherfucking Capcom fanboy up in here. Yeah, I can't deny, though, my hype for RE9 is... guys, I don't even want to talk about it. Half the reason I'm doing this stream is because I got to distract myself. 10 days. Also, I'm pretty fucking sure Amazon's not going to give me my copy day one. Garrett says because there are more than 13 exclusives. Oh, shit. Hold on, guys. How did I just spill my coffee? I never do that. I've never done that. I just spilled my fucking coffee, like, all over my desk. I'm gonna have to wipe my keyboard later. Sorry about that. That was weird. Well, I guess I just find myself a bit perplexed these days because, I mean, I feel like I've covered almost every angle of this 3 times over, not in this singular stream, but generally speaking, where it's like, the PlayStation 5 is in this really strange position where it is successful. It's very successful. And it's successful for multiple reasons. It's successful because it's going to hit 100 million units sold, which is more than the PS3. And it may even end up catching the PS1 and the PS4. When it's all said and done, the PS5 could end up being the second best selling PlayStation console of all time. I do not think it'll surpass the PS2 without something crazy happening. It's also successful for Sony because it's the most profitable generation they've ever done. So Sony is making more money on this well-selling console than they've ever made compared to any other generation prior. And it's not just by a little bit, it's by like significant margins. And now they have more active users than ever before. So there's more people playing on PlayStation than ever before, mainly driven by the PS5. Of course, some of that is the PS4. And so I guess like my biggest disconnect here is like, why would Sony ever listen to a fucking thing the internet has to say? Because the internet has been wrong this entire generation. I don't want to say wrong about everything. I'm part of the internet. I've been right about a couple things that I wish Sony would have listened to sooner. I understand why they didn't, but like, yeah, there were times where I was saying, Sony, don't do this, or be careful with that, or watch out for this, and they didn't listen. But my point here is that this entire generation, I've been seeing reactions like this. I've been seeing conversations like this, opinions like this. God knows I've seen them 100 times over. And I have been told this entire generation that the PS5 is, it's just not going to be a successful console for one reason or another, or it's only going to be successful up front. It's going to fail later. I've heard every single argument there is to hear about why the PS5 won't succeed or shouldn't succeed. I've seen every single type of fear mongering you could possibly throw at the PS5. And I've believed some of it. I was out here being like, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe Sony's going to hit a wall. And even I was wrong numerous times. And the exact opposite every single time. Not just once, not just 3 times, not just 5 times. This entire generation, every single quarter. It's been the same. More success, things going well. Anything that's not going well, tweak it a little bit, reshape it, get it back where it's got to be, make some alterations. And this is why I'm just like, if I'm supposed to believe that Sony is sitting there thinking, you know what, guys, I don't think we should release the PS6. And again, I'm saying this as somebody where I am not opposed. Enter Concord. Yeah. I'm not opposed to the idea of the PS6 coming later. But I'm supposed to believe that Sony's sitting there looking over everything I just laid out and then some. They have all the data, dude. Everything tells them this has been their most successful gen. This year is going to be insane for PS5 sales. They got some exclusives lined up. But you know what, sir? I just read multiple posts on Twitter of people saying that no one wants the PlayStation 6 and no one's going to upgrade to it. So I think we shouldn't do it. Yeah. Yeah. I read it on Twitter. I saw it on Reddit. Turns out nobody wants to buy the PlayStation 6. And I'm like, why? Like, do you see what I'm saying? There's nothing other than the RAM shortage. The RAM shortage is the only tangible, real thing that indicates they would have to sell a console at a much higher price, and that would stop people from buying it. Outside of that, there's nothing even remotely that seems to indicate that people wouldn't buy the PS6. And so this brings me all the way back to square one and what I was originally talking to you guys about. And that is, am I just completely and totally out of touch to a degree that I don't even know what people like anymore to any degree. Like I have the most unpopular opinion, and I'm just in this kind of small little bubble. I mean, I could be, and I would believe that if everything that I see wasn't so obvious. And there is this idea. Well, before I said YJT says output is lower this gen because of live service. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. People might say, well, the bubble's gonna burst for Sony, where they can only keep it looking so good for so long. But my problem with that is that these aren't like nothing's being artificially manufactured here. You know what I'm saying? Like people that type of mentality insinuates that people are buying PlayStation 5s uh for like reasons other than wanting to play video games on their PlayStation 5. Like they're somehow being like coerced into going on Amazon and ordering a PS5 or walking into a store and leaving with a PS5. Like they're being scammed into it or something. And it's like no, it's pretty clear cut. It's a video game machine that you play video games on. That's why you buy it. So this kind of insinuation that it's all going to come crashing down, while I do think Sony has a lot of hard work cut out for them to win people over with the PS6 and to bring people onto the PS6, I do think they're going to have to put in a lot of effort, certainly. And it's not just going to happen without any, like, they can't just coast it, is what I'm trying to say. There's absolutely no reason for anybody, and I mean literally for anybody, to even remotely believe that the PS6 won't be successful unless you just don't want it to be successful because you don't want to upgrade to it and you're hopeful that a lot of other people are going to feel the same way you do. And maybe they do, but I don't know, man. People have been telling me this stuff. People told me the PS5 Pro was going to be a complete flop and like 10 people were going to buy it. Meanwhile, it's selling literally just as well as the PS4 Pro. I mean, it's kind of crazy because it's $300 more, but it's like it turns out there were people, a lot of them, who wanted the PS5 Pro. And if Sony listened to the internet, if Sony said, you know what, the internet is angry and upset and they got their panties in a twist again, we should cancel the PS5 Pro. If they did that, then millions upon millions of people who bought the PS5 Pro wouldn't have had that option, right? And PSSR wouldn't be a thing right now. And that's where it's like, maybe it's a really good thing Sony doesn't listen to the internet at all. And that maybe it's a good thing that I'm the one reading these things and reacting to them and not Sony. Because if Sony made decisions based off of the things you see people saying on the internet, even the things that are gaining traction and getting millions of views and getting all this engagement, dude, the PlayStation be a literal dumpster fire right now. It'd be dead. Yeah, it would be dead. So, but let's continue on, shall we? Somebody says, you're being pretty disingenuous to be real. Sounds more like you're reflecting here. I own a PS5 and I can say that this console is not much to write home about, especially when it comes to the amount of exclusives its little siblings had in comparison. I mean, I, I, I think one of the things that has also thrown me off here, guys, I'm going to be honest. I think one of the things that has thrown me off is that I was unaware of how many people just bought consoles for exclusives, like just for that, you know? Because, like, I don't know, man. Every time I've owned a PlayStation, granted, I understand exclusives drive you to a console. Absolutely. I'm not saying that. Like, exclusives drive you to a console. But I've never bought a console personally, um, just for like one or two or three games and then just like don't use it anymore. I've never done that. I've never done that. So I guess, yeah, the thing that I kind of find a little bit confusing sometimes is I run into people and they make it seem like, yeah, literally exclusives are the only thing. And I get that. Like, it's not that difficult to grasp. I guess it just feels foreign to me because that's not what I've ever done. Like exclusives, like for example, when MGS4 came out, that made me buy a PS3. I'm like, okay, now I need a PS3. I didn't literally just play MGS4 on that machine. Well, for a little bit I did. For a little bit. I did call it the MGS4 machine for a while. But I'm saying, like, I had the console and over time I bought a couple games here and there, even if it wasn't my main platform that I played on. So I guess that's what feels, I don't know. I guess it's like if you're purely viewing it from the perspective of I'm only looking through the lens of like these are the games that Sony delivered that you can only play on this singular piece of hardware. If that's the lens you're looking at it through, then I guess, yeah, for some people it's going to be like, damn, dude, the PS5, yeah, they only got 13 games. But I don't know, man. I don't look at it that way. It's like, oh, I can't count Death Stranding now because it's launching on PC next month. Like, fuck that. No, dude, Death Stranding 2, to me, that is a PS5 game. That is a major reason why the PS5 gen is going to be amazing to me. You know? Like, I don't give a shit if it's on PC. That doesn't matter to me. Um, I mean, I think if anything, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if anything, the people who, here's what I think I'm trying to say here. I think the people who will say to me or to anybody else that what has made the PS5 gen so lackluster is its lack of exclusives. Those sound like people who never even, like, they don't really want to play on PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like, it's this idea that, well, if that's the only reason you engage with it, and Sony removes that reason, then you therefore have no reason to engage with it, but you can still play these games. Maybe you're not the person. It's not to say that your opinion is invalid. I'm not saying that. But it's just, I don't know that that's the person I'm going to really go to for a comprehensive review of a console generation. You know what I mean? I'd rather hear a review from somebody who's like, this is their main driver and they'll be able to tell me everything that goes with it, you know? I don't think Avowed was Shadow Drop. No, Avowed's release date was today. I'm pretty sure, right? They announced the 17th. You think the future is PC and Switch? Simple as that. I mean, for you, maybe. But if you think PlayStation consoles are not going to still be manufactured or be relevant, I think you're a bit deluded, honestly. Overexposure, a member for 16 months, says Neil Druckmann said Intergalactic is a game that's mainly about faith and religion. Do you think it will have a Jewish agenda because he's from Israel? I mean, I I would say maybe, but I would like to think that, I mean, it can, I guess it depends on what you mean by like a Jewish agenda. Um, I think what you're really asking, like, will it end up being like an analogy, to be like, oh, like the religion's it's about Judaism and Christianity. Like, yeah, I think there will be obvious things that like this is what this is supposed to be, but my hope would be that it would not be too painfully obvious because I feel like if you're doing a made up religion, and you're touching religion at all, you clearly have some things you want to say, and that's fine. But I think it's like, let's like get creative with it. You know what I mean? If you get creative with it and don't make it so overt, like it like the underpinnings can still be there, where if you really dive deep into it, you can see this is supposed to be that, and that's supposed to be this. It's kind of like how, I'll give you a good example, like the Matrix. Like the Matrix is very religious. It touches on many religions, including Christianity, the whole nine yards. But not once when I was watching it, you know, throughout the years, was I like thinking about that in the forefront of my mind. It was only once I did the deeper dives and people were like, this is actually supposed, this is supposed to be an analogy to that, and this is supposed to be symbolic of that. And it's like, oh, okay. Now I didn't notice that the first time. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I would prefer it to be something that can just be digested on its own without any over analysis, that just has a couple things to say about religion and different aspects of it collectively, rather than it being like, actually, it's really about one religion and I have a very specific thing to say. It can be that, but that, I think if it's going in that direction, it's going to be very controversial. Yeah, that's going to be a shit show if it goes in that direction. It could still be good, but there's no denying if they go in that direction, it's going to be it's going to be something. Let me tell you. So, we will find out together, my friends. We will find out together. Let me just scroll through a couple more of these. Says the absolute majority of my games physically and digitally have been third party. This generation has been greatly disappointing compared to PS3 and 4. PS2 to GOAT of all time. Oh, I have like a question. Hold on. When we go back to the 13, you remember when we were looking at this picture, because it was up here for like a long ass time. This picture here, when we were talking about 514 exclusives for the PS2, I mean, are we counting, like, dude, that has to be counting games like GTA, Vice City, and San Andreas, right? Like, because there's like no fucking way that that's not being counted. Like, I have a feeling those lists are counting games that did eventually, like, at some point they did go to other platforms, but they're throwing it in there because it pumps the number up to drive home. Like, right? That's what I'm saying. Is it's just like, bro, I don't know, man. If that, like, here's another question I have. We look at the PS4. Sorry, it's not even up. If we look at the PS4, and it says the PS4 had 58 exclusives, how many of those exclusives are now on PC? Unless, like, are those 58 PS4 exclusives, are those literally just games that you can right now only play on PS4? Because I find that fucking hard to believe. I find it very hard to believe that right now there are 58 video games locked. I mean, locked to the PS4. Maybe it is, but this is where I feel like further context is needed, because I wouldn't be surprised if this list is constructed to look like this purposely, where it's like, yeah, we're only counting the 13 games that are hard locked to the PS5. But for every other console here, we're going to count everything under the sun that was at any point in time an exclusive, even if it was only exclusive for a month. Like, I feel like that's what we're looking at here, because something just looks fucking whack with this list, bro. Especially that PS2 and PS1. I'm like, somebody looking right there. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was upset about. Finally got it all out of my system. Let me go check on another tweet, though. I put this one out. What's this one? Oh, wow. This one blew up. Okay, I wasn't expecting it. I guess it's not too unexpected. Asking people which which version of God of War combat they like better. The classic God of War 1 through 3 or 2018 and Ragnarok's. Holy shit, 319 responses. That's a lot. People got their opinion on this one, boy. You like both styles? I think I lean more towards the modern style. I mean, dude, Ragnarok and 2018. I mean, this shit look. I mean, the classic style, I think, is overall it has a more like a lighter, more fluid feel to it. But this shit's just insane. Like some of the combos you could do are nuts, where you could like break out different weapons and shit. It's awesome. Let's see what some people are saying. 2018, not even close. Oh shit. Modern, I did not like God of War 1 through 3 at all. The classic combat style was far superior to the new system. Classic combat with PS5 graphics would look exceptionally clean. Wow. Okay, this one has a lot of upvotes. Somebody says classic. Not one game has the hacking slash of God of War. And then you got another here. Classic. Classic God of War, not even close. Why speed up the gameplay? I don't think the gameplay sped up, is it? These are some random combat. Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. If any of this gameplay sped up, that was from whatever I ripped from YouTube, bro. Just like random clips I found. So that's that's unfortunate if it sped up. Let's see. Always preferred the original games. The new ones are great though. Classic. It's more simple and easier to understand. It seems like a lot of people. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people in the replies. They're leaning towards classic, which I guess isn't too surprising. There's that. It's the original, you know. And I asked people here, do you play on base PS5 or Pro? PS5 Pro, base PS5. All right. I think we'll get out of Twitter land now. And Imagine Alex, a member for 2 months, says The Last of Us 2 was full of very questionable Israel prop in it too. It's everywhere, tour and all. Some are too normy to pick it up. Same for Kingdom Come Deliverance. I mean, there were some things I noticed, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, it really just was like how much it felt like it took away from, you know, the story and the gameplay itself. And there was nothing that really, there was nothing I came across that really made me go, what the fuck? You know, like what's going on right now? Except the fucking story itself, you know? You know, there was just that elephant in the room. So the crash out shall continue. The crash out shall continue with The Last of Us Part 2. I'm just kidding. Let me head back to the chat, though. Hold on. All right. Is the Gaz Insider Gaming thing a joke? So Masochist Mode, I actually don't know what that is. I saw that trending. I don't even know who that is. Who is that? People were like losing their minds over it. Insider Gaming that's Tom Henderson's thing, right? I mean, I go to them sometimes if they have certain scoops. You shouldn't just see half the screen now. It should be fixed. MBG read this simply. Everyone will be happy. Just remaster the old God of War and make the remakes over the shoulders like the new ones. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but I assure you, not everybody will be happy. I think that's the best of both worlds, though. Yeah. Gaz is the Xbox version of J-Dub. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I was seeing. I was seeing people say that he's like an Xbox fanboy or something, and they brought him on, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know who half these people are. Like, I really don't. And I don't even mean that in a rude way. I'm saying like I'm not, even though I'm on Twitter, I'm not necessarily super well versed in who all these people are. Like, I probably come across them from time to time, but I don't know. I can't say whether that's true or not, whether this person is a Xbox fanboy or whatever. You're saying you respect him more because he doesn't deny he's a fanboy. Yeah, sometimes you got to just embrace it. Like, I'm a PlayStation fanboy. You know, I will defend Sony at all costs. Not always. Not always. Sometimes I can't stand some of the things Sony does. Ponies rejoice. I need to make an Xbox channel. I need money from these suckers. Damn, bro. Hold on, let me go check. Let me do some further research here. Yeah, dude, it's still trending. It's still trending. Insider Gaming hires controversial Xbox creator Gaz. Says Insider Gaming announced that London-based YouTuber Septic Sauce, known for his unfiltered takes on Xbox games and industry drama, has joined the team led by Tom Henderson. The news drew quick praise from supporters who value his humor, but PlayStation fans criticized it as a sign of Xbox bias and a blow to the site's credibility. Gaz responded in a video jokingly calling himself a changed man to the angry commenters amid ongoing debates about passion versus neutrality in gaming media. You know what? Hold on. Oh, okay. I just clicked on his profile. Yeah, I've come across this guy a couple times. Hold on. He put out a video. He's saying to all the very angry PlayStation fans in the thread, please don't worry. I'm a changed man.
Thank you, Insider Gaming, for this amazing opportunity. For the PlayStation guys in the comment section, that you are very upset. I can see that, and I understand why. And I want to put you at ease. I want you to be rest assured that you have nothing to worry about, because from here on out, I will exclusively review PlayStation exclusive.
Oh man! Oh my God, bro! He's trolling. He's trolling him. He's fucking trolling him. I was like taking it seriously. I'm like, oh man, I guess he's really trying to let everybody know. And no, he's not. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, they should bring me on. Insider Gaming, bringing on MBG. Oh my God, you think the reaction's bad to this guy? Wait till they bring me on that bitch. They're letting me review Crackdown 3. It's my first review. Oh man. I should start my own network. I'm going to start my own network. It's called the Pony Network. No. Scratch that. That's too weak. Muscle-bound ponies. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not too familiar. I can only assume based on that little video I saw that this guy's he's leaning into it. Surely Insider Gaming knows, though. Like, that's right. Right? Like, they wouldn't just hire somebody that if they didn't know. It'd be like if they hired me. Like, how could they not know? You know, that, like, I'm considered like a pony or whatever. And people, like, there are people that hate me just because I don't hide the fact that I don't like Xbox. Right? Unless they're caught off guard. I doubt they're caught off guard. That'd be weird. But I don't know. Is this going to hurt Insider Gaming's credibility? I don't know. I mean, Insider Gaming kind of covers everything, though, right? What the hell was that noise? Devil Shooter, you're heading out, man. I appreciate you hanging for a while. You, me, and Rich Rod podcast from a Japanese castle. From a Japanese castle, man. Oh, no. The media cries about fanboys in gaming, then hire them. What timeline are we in? Boss, what's up, man? How can it not hurt credibility? Don't let me ever see them cry about fanboys. Have they done that before? See, this is where I'm too out of the loop. I don't know. I'm always so wrapped up in other nonsense. I'm missing all the extra nonsense that's going on. So to me, that would be weird. If they ever complained about fanboys, but then hire fanboys, it's like, all right, well, that's a weird signal to give. I'm not sure what they're trying to say. Dress boss in samurai armor. Hell yeah, man. Devil Shooter, I'll give you a shout out now, man. Thank you for doing the timestamps for the streams. Did you see the High Guard website is down? No, I did not see that. Uh-oh. Oh no. Is it actually Concord all over again? You don't know if they have, but other outlets like them have complained about fanboys. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's always some kind of drama, I suppose. I mean, just look at me. I basically just had to crash out this entire stream. Yeah, high guard's probably well, it's not probably. High guard is in trouble. Yeah, here we go. So PlayStation says Avowed is available today for PS5. Look at how desperate they are. They need those PlayStation sales. Wait, somebody says no physical copies? Did they not do a physical release? Bro, come on. Not that I would buy it anyway, but I feel like that's weak. I mean, dude, some of these Xbox guys, they're like, they don't buy games, man. PlayStation players don't buy games. Meanwhile, Microsoft's like, yeah, we're going to put our games on PlayStation because people buy games there. Oh, Gaming Survivor, you got another one? Fresh Tuesday hit. That's a long ass title, bro. Microslop fanboys stop funding your own demise part 2. Holy shit. Longest song title ever. It's 2 minutes. Thank you for keeping it short, Gaming Survivor. I would play it now, but if I play it now, I'm going to lose people. I appreciate that. I will play it at the end of the stream. Although, so yeah, I've been streaming for like 2.5 hours. I think I'll go to the 3-hour mark. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. So I think for the next like 30 minutes, I will hang out with you guys and just shoot the shit, chat about random stuff or gaming related stuff. In that time, though, I do want to encourage you, if you want to help support the channel, um, do so by becoming a channel member. Consider gifting memberships. We got 5 membership gifts earlier from Corey, so we're still 20 away from hitting the goal. I don't know if we're going to hit the goal today or not. It would be great if we could. I would really appreciate that. So if you're feeling generous and if you want to support the channel, consider gifting. Boss is clearly desperate. Look at him. He looks like a statue. Look at Boss. He's so desperate. He's like, I just want my treats, man. But yeah, in the next like 30 minutes as we hang out, I'll encourage you guys we'll try to get that member goal up. Or you could drop super chats or direct donations, whatever you prefer to do if you want to support the channel. Penetrate the like button, yes. Make sure you hit that like button too. You'll notice the quality difference. It's not worth playing Avowed at all. I haven't heard good things about Avowed. Yeah. Who's kicking ass on Cyberstand, by the way? I re-downloaded Helldivers. I might play it a little bit. I've struggled to really get back into Helldivers. I've tried numerous times, but it hasn't been able to get its hooks back into me like it did the first time. Are the rumors true about you and the potato? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Phil McCracken. Do I even want to know what those rumors are, man? I don't know. That doesn't sound too good. MBG, did you see that report from China? It seems like many electronic companies will go bankrupt due to the hardware crisis, and production of smartphones and TVs will be significantly reduced. I didn't see the specific report, but yeah, it's hard to feel too surprised by something like that happening. It's very unfortunate. It sucks, but what are you going to do, you know? It's these damn AI data centers. We need them, apparently. That's what they keep telling us. Not the potato. I'm only here for the songs from Gaming Survivor, says BMad. Damn. Gaming Survivor, you got a big fan. Blame Microsoft, bro. A big part of the problem. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. If you're losing people, I'm complaining about a data center. Meanwhile, here's a new AI slop song from Gaming Survivor. Guys, am I part of the problem? I mean, look, I just feel like it's a smoke 'em if you got 'em type situation where me choosing to play a few AI slop songs that my viewers make for me versus not is not going to make a damn difference in the world. You know, that's not the difference between these data centers getting built or not. These data centers are getting built. AI on AI violence. What's up, man? You're finally going to finish Ghost of Tsushima tonight. It only took 5 years. That is a long time, but congratulations on that. You think I should make a second channel just for AI songs? Well, I mean, why would it hurt my channel? I don't think it's hurting my channel. You know what's hurting my channel? Do you want to know what's hurting my channel? Everything we covered today, practically, that's hurting my channel. Like, not literally me covering it or talking about it. I'm saying, like, people walking around being like, Sony sucks. And then they come across my channel like, I hate Sony. I hate you because you like Sony. Don't tell me nothing good about Sony. I don't want to hear none of that fanboy nonsense. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Just removed my PS5 Pro, went back to PS3, more exclusives. Oh, you removed it. Damn, we lost Hellbound, bro. See, Sony, see how much you're messing up? You even made Hellbound get rid of his PS5 Pro. He's going back to the P3. And then tomorrow, Sony's going to announce we're shutting down the PlayStation 3 store. We're done. Make a second channel to react to anime? Oh, hell no. You could not pay me enough to react to anime. Jeffrey Luttrell says, what's up, everybody? Nice to catch a live stream. Hope you're doing well, MBG. Well, thank you. I'm doing okay. I'm just still a little stuffed up. I'm getting over being sick. I'm mostly doing well. Glad you could tune in for a little bit. Carl says he's going to turn green. What does that mean? Silent Hill Townfall PS5 exclusivity sparks console debate. Announced at Sony's February 12th State of Play, Silent Hill Townfall is a first-person survival horror game set on a foggy Scottish island in 1996, where players guide Simon Ordell through melee combat, stealth, and puzzles using a CRTV device developed by No Code and published by Konami with Annapurna Interactive. It launches in 2026 on PS5 and Steam and Epic Game Store with no Xbox version announced. The decision prompted debates over exclusivity deals, past sales like Silent Hill 2's strong performance after its timed PS5 window, and whether skipping Xbox hurts horror games or smartly targets bigger audiences. And Hellbound comes in. Hellbound's like, I got rid of my PS5 Pro so I could drop these membership gifts. Hellbound, thank you so much, man. He rips open another 5-pack and brings us to 10. So, guys, I don't know. It depends on how you guys are feeling today. I think Hellbound, I think he wants to get a member train going. He knows that I want to get a member train going. So he's like, here you go. That brings us to 10. We're still 15 away. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a little bit. That's 15 memberships. It's not an insignificant amount. No amount is insignificant. But we might be able to do it. We pretty much have 30 minutes. So we'll see. You can always drop a single as well, by the way. Thank you, Hellbound. And Irfan, you're telling me to read your last. MBG, I just got The Witcher 3's Platinum, and it was so hard. You have no idea, LOL. When Witcher 4 comes out, you can't resist it, and you would want to play it. Play 3, bro. You don't know what you've missed. You're probably right. Don't they have another DLC coming out for that game? Ray says, I would, MBG, but I can't till Friday. Well, I appreciate that, Ray. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the fact that you would if you could. That means something, you know? I'm looking at, so this Twitter account, Millie A, says, Silent Hill 2 Remake achieved stronger first-month sales on Xbox following its timed PS5 exclusivity period than Silent Hill F managed during the same launch window as a multi-platform release. Konami approached Sony with the option of exclusivity for Townfall, with Sony happily agreeing. I don't know if there's truth to that or not. The hell is this?
I'm a big Silent Hill fan. I was like, all right, can't wait to play it on Xbox. And then this is one of those games that's not coming to Xbox, at least not right away, because
Not launch.
it's exclusive to PlayStation on console and on PC, and it's like, that's so weird. So weird to money hat like this game. I mean, I understand like Silent Hill 2 remake, but Silent Hill Townfall, like, so it's like Silent Hill 2 remake gets money hatted for a year, but Silent Hill F doesn't. But then Silent Hill Townfall does.
Yeah, the whole logic behind money hatting is just getting more and more dumb. Maybe this was just like something that happened a while ago. I suppose like Konami and Annapurna's logic is, yeah, maybe offset some cash flow risk, but it just, for me, it just hurts the game. You know, put it everywhere all at once, and you'll have a bigger game. The zeitgeist will be bigger. There'll be more interest. There'll be more hype. And for Sony, like, what? Do you think people are going to quit Xbox for Townfall?
Well, not even that.
I don't fucking think
it's,
so.
It's not even on Switch either. You know, it's not even on Switch 2. But
well, that's the dumb shit. It's like nobody on earth is going to switch platform for this game. So why money hat it? It makes no sense. But hey ho, Sony's money. You know, they want to spend it that way. Then sure. I mean, if it was me, I'd spend that money on delivering actually some first party games. But
oh,
you're
gonna get clipped, and they're gonna make me like, "Look, Jez talking shit about PlayStation. He's on Xbox. What a loser."
Clip it, baby. I don't give a fuck. I'll be playing all those games on my shiny PC. Thank you,
your
buddy.
Xbox ally.
Well, I'm trying to help Sony, bro. I'm trying to help them see the future, see the light. Like, you shouldn't be wasting money on money.
I mean, I suppose you helped Xbox too. You helped Xbox see the light, and that's all I'm going to say.
Money ads that aren't going to move any needle for anyone. It's literally pointless, man.
Yeah. Well,
Am I crazy?
I don't know. I could see people maybe getting a PlayStation or whatever for Silent Hill 2, considering how much love there is for Silent Hill 2 and how nostalgic it is
Silent
for
Hill
a lot
2?
of people.
Silent Hill 1?
Yeah.
Silent Hill Townfall.
But Silent Hill Townfall.
I think the question that has to be asked is, who's going to buy an Xbox for any game at all? Like, I think that's the better question. Like, I don't even know if this game is actually an exclusive. Like, I don't know if I was under the impression that they were just like, we're not going to put it on Xbox because why would we? Like, I feel like we are seeing, okay. Boss touched my mic and froze the camera. Dude, boss, there's no way you're the reason my camera just froze. He's like, that's enough. That's enough fanboying from you. Oh, there we go. It fixed. Boss has had enough. He demands treats. Also, I love it, man. I love when people like Jez Corner are like, Sony should, they should take that money and, I don't know, actually make first party games. Come on, boss. And it's like, bro, okay. Yeah, man. Yeah. I wish Sony had games. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. I ain't got nothing to look forward to. I ain't playing shit because Sony ain't making or releasing shit. Ironically enough, what's funny about that is if that were true, right? Sony don't got no games, then wouldn't that actually make sense for them to lock games down as exclusive? Where it's like, hey, we don't have anything, so we're going to make this exclusive so we have something. So the logic there actually would make sense. Like, based on their own logic, it's like, that actually makes sense. But if the idea is this game shouldn't be money-hatted, Silent Hill Townfall shouldn't be money-hatted, it should just be multi-platform. And, look, man, all I'm going to say to that is cry to Xbox. Cry to daddy Microsoft. Do you know why? Because guess who could easily fucking afford to do the same thing? Guess who could afford to say, actually, we're going to pay even more to make sure we get this game on Xbox. Daddy AI data center microslop. That's the truth, man. Like, don't I'm so tired of hearing people bitch at Sony for paying money to give something to their own players. Like, why would I be mad at Sony for that? Like, I could be honest and say, Sony, that's a nice gesture. I don't need Silent Hill Townfall as an exclusive. I'm good. But if you want to go ahead and do that, cool. Like, I'm not going to complain. If you think that's going to help your ability to sell consoles and you want to say, hey, this is a reason to potentially consider going with PS5, yeah, I want to see the PS5 hit 100 million. Go ahead. Boss, bro, you are being you're trying to derail my conversation. Josh Nuggets, I'm shunning you, boss, until we hit the member goal. Josh Nuggets. Still no membership. Sorry, man. Irfin's getting all worked up. How are you? You know how I am? I got to get this cat out of here. Boss. Go. Leave. Leave me alone. All right, listen. Hellbound, Corey, you both donated 5 memberships each. I'm giving Boss just a little bit. I'll give him more if we hit the main goal, but boy's torturing me. That's a lot, dude. 400 hours. I'm doing well. Well, here's what gets me, man. Here's what gets me about these people is these are the same people that are like, I'm tired of these fanboys and I'm going to make fun of fanboys. And it's like, you are a fucking fanboy. Like, I'm a fanboy. You're a fanboy. Like, we're all fanboys. It's okay. You're allowed to be like, that's literally what keeps all of this going. PC fanboys, Xbox fanboys, PlayStation fanboys, and Nintendo fanboys. Like, it's the people who think that they're like above it. It's like, you're not above shit. You're just as bad as everyone and everything else. Like, you are. There is no holier than thou shit going on here. You know, like, and that's why, like, to be honest, I don't even like, I mean, yeah, I think that clip is kind of funny, but it's like, yeah, you guys should be crying that Silent Hill isn't coming to Xbox because that sucks. Like, yeah, that, and you should express that. Like, don't hide it. Like, yeah, it fucking sucks. But I don't know, man. I have a feeling that if it was reversed, I have a feeling that if it was an Xbox exclusive and it wasn't releasing on PlayStation, there wouldn't be crying. At most, there would be indifference. I don't think they would come out and say, no, you should put that on PS5. Why are you being dicks? No, I don't think they would do that. And that's where it's like, let's not pretend. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and shed any tears that Silent Hill Townfall isn't releasing on Xbox. It's okay if you want to shed a tear because you are on Xbox and it's not. But just, you know, we just have to keep that. We have to keep it real in that if the roles were reversed, a lot of these Xbox guys would be like, cool, whatever. You know how I know? Because that's what they were like when they were getting exclusives. MBG over here with the, I'm a dude, he's a dude, and she's a dude because we're all dudes. Exactly, dude. What's an Xbox? Yo, oh my God. By the way, you guys were talking about David Jaffe earlier, and I did see this recently, and that just reminded me, dude, that time David Jaffe quote tweeted somebody's account where their best friend, I think it was their friend that passed away, and they laid out like 2 Xbox controllers on their grave and were like talking about how that was like their best friend and they gamed together. And Jaffe quote tweeted it and said, "This is an Xbox." And it's like, bro, oh my God. Like, come on, man. That's bad. That's like, what? I don't even have words. Dude, I'm not kidding. That was a real thing. And I'm only thinking about this because I saw that like 3 days ago. Somebody brought it up, and somebody in the chat saying this isn't what's an Xbox reminded me of it. That's crazy, man. Wild. Let me see. People are pointing out that these are the same people who supported Bethesda games becoming exclusive to Xbox. That's what I mean. Like that's why I feel like, come on. The whole conversation around exclusivity, I feel like people have tried to turn it into something it's not. All right, let's see what else there is here. We got to find more drama. I'm becoming a drama channel, drama bound gamer. I will say what's super interesting, that Millier person, I think that Millier person used to be like, they might be an insider. I don't know. They used to have certain things, and I don't know if they're actually a real insider or not. But if that's true, if they're basically saying like Silent Hill Townfall isn't money hatted, it's actually Konami purposely choosing to do that because sales were better for the game that came to Xbox later rather than the same day. That's weird, man. I'm telling you, like, this is why listen, I'm telling you right now, Xbox players who care about like playing on the Xbox ecosystem, they should be worried about Magnus, man. And I know that's going to upset some people, you know? Like, wait, what? Yeah, wait, what did Xbox do? I thought you had, there was some kind of civil war going on or some shit. I got to pause the civil war to get back to the real war, you know? We're still mocking Xbox. No, I'm not mocking Xbox. I'm just simply saying, I just came across something that was trending on Twitter about Townfall, Silent Hill Townfall being a PS5 exclusive. I just want to say, like, I think Xbox players should be a little bit worried about Magnus, a little bit, if they like playing on the Xbox ecosystem, because Magnus is kind of a threat to their own ecosystem, thanks to Steam and every other game store, where it's like, I get that from that perspective, it's like I'll have more options. That's true, but so will developers. And if developers have the option to say, well, why would we make an Xbox version if the latest Xbox has Steam and they can just buy the Steam version? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it might be something that could end up being a double-edged sword in some sense. We don't know if that'll happen or not, but I don't know, man. If the rumor is true about Silent Hill Townfall, it's actually not money hatted. It's Konami actively choosing. That's weird. Like, I don't know what's going on there. You get Play Anywhere and more optimized games, maybe. I mean, you would hope so, but we'll see. You're just so hyped for RE9. Same here, man. I wanted to talk about RE9 today, but it's too soon. I had to save my hype for next week leading up to the launch. I am very excited for Resident Evil 9. I'm very excited. Like, I'm in a place right now where, like, I don't know what to do with myself, because like I want to play something, but you know what I'm talking about, like, where it's like the calm before the storm, but you get a little bit antsy, where I know like the storm is next week, man. Because once Resident Evil 9 drops, it's like I'm not I'm not playing anything else until I'm good and done with that game. I'm getting everything out of that game. I'm squeezing every last drop out of that game. But it's like we're at that 10-day period where I'm like, like, come on, man. Somebody get me somebody hook me up with an early copy of Resident Evil 9. How sick would that be? Now, that's a game I would love to get early. I'd love to be playing that shit right now. Yo, somebody hook me up. Did you see that the brand new Silent Hill movie just came out like a couple weeks ago and it's awful? Yeah, dude. Oh, man. Yeah. I knew from the moment I saw the first trailer, I'm like, this is going to be a dumpster fire. You beat RE4 for the 29th time. That's crazy, man. I mean, I'm playing Resident Evil 4 right now, and I feel torn on it, man, because, like, I want to keep playing it, but I feel like I'm setting myself up for, like, not failure. Well, I guess it would kind of be viewed as failure. We're like, I want to get the platinum, but I don't want to, like, get super invested into playing RE4 Remake, knowing that 9 days from now, I'm going to have one day where it's like, you need 10 trophies and like 3 more playthroughs. That's not happening in one day, because the moment RE9 drops, I'm going to probably uninstall RE4. I'm like, I'm out. It's all Resident Evil 9 now. I mean, yeah, I could finish it. Like, I'm thinking about just playing it for the sake of playing it. That's hard for me to do, though, because I already have played it numerous times. You know, it's just, I look at those trophies and I'm like, I want to get that platinum. That's the completionist in me. You know, this is the unnecessary stress I create for myself. It's like, I want to platinum RE4 before RE9, but I got like 10 days, and I'm definitely not going to be able to platinum this game in 10 days unless I dedicate my life to it. So the only other option is we'll just play it for fun. And I have been. I've just been playing it, a new playthrough, playing it like it's my first time, you know, taking it slow. But every time I always stop and I'm like, but are you going for that platinum or not, man? And I'm like, shut up. I'm like crazy. I'm talking to myself. I'm like, shut up. Just let me play the game. I'm insane. You're saying I should stop playing because I'm going to want that full-blown experience for RE9? I mean, yeah, there is the option of I could, like, I did re-download Helldivers. I might play a little bit of that. You're 77% into Spider-Man 2. You love it. Spider-Man 2 is good, man. People really shit on that game and made it seem like it was a bad video game. Where's Johnny PlayStation? I don't know, man. I don't know. Guys, we got like 8 minutes. We need 15 memberships in 8 minutes. I don't know if we'll make it happen or not. But now I'm just going to harass my audience. Also, hit that like button. I have not been saying that enough. Make sure you hit that like button. We're almost at 150 likes. Thank you guys for that. It is a DSP mode. No, yeah, I am begging. Please give me 15 memberships. I beg of you. At least I save it for the end. Nah, I mean, look, in all seriousness, it's cool if we don't hit the goal today. You guys hit 2 goals on Monday. Wait, today Tuesday or what is today? I'm all fucked up. Today's Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday. We hit 2 goals on Sunday. We hit 2 goals yesterday. So, you know, it's not a big deal, man. You know, I'm not stressing. You're stressing. It's cool if we can't hit the goal. But, you know, I always I try to encourage, you know. Yeah, I'm desperately wait. See, that's crazy to me. You're saying begging is the act of asking someone earnestly or desperately. And I feel like those two things are doing something earnestly and doing something desperately. I feel like there's definitely a difference between those two things. And to just like put them in one thing, I am once again earnestly 5.6K views on Avowed now on YouTube. Is that good? I don't know. Are you talking about like on the PlayStation YouTube channel? Listen, I'll start doing this thing. All right. You're saying you need to report JTech. He's using your stream. Due to him, what he has done to so many others, he's very good at copyright striking people. Well, I mean, what is he doing with my stream? It depends on what he's doing. Like, I've never copyright struck anybody. And people have been, dude, people have used my, there's like this one dude who just watches like, no, I don't think he watches my entire streams, but he watches like hours of it. And I'm like, okay. Like, I guess you're allowed to do, like, I guess you're allowed to do that because he's providing commentary, but his commentary is fucking, it's like trash. It's like it's like he makes fun of me begging. And it's like, that's cool, man, but like, that's what you're gonna do. Like, out of all the things we talk about, that's what you're okay. But hey, whatever they got to do, I suppose. But yeah, I usually don't care about that shit. The only thing that people shouldn't be doing, truthfully, like, obviously I don't like when people are trying to slander me, but fuck them, like, slander me all you want, bitch. Swing on my, I'm not going to say that. I got to calm down. I'm going to get in trouble with YouTube. I don't really care if people want to slander me. The only thing that people shouldn't be doing is just straight re-uploading. Or doing like, like re-uploading something and talking over it for like 2 minutes and then just like letting the rest of it play for the entire time without providing anything. That is not good. Let me see. They're using you for views. You probably could. Well, look, man. I mean, the truth is with this stuff, here's how it usually goes. You can, like, I could right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to do this. I don't do this. Is it? It feels like it's just not. It just doesn't feel quite right, per se. Like, it shouldn't have to be a thing. But if I wanted to, I could copyright strike anybody using my content right now. And most of those people would say I am protected under fair use. The problem is they would have, where things usually escalate is it would have to become a legal battle where they would have to take me to court. And then that becomes a whole shit show where now you're talking about getting lawyers arguing and bringing cases to the table. And, the reality of my situation as well as others, truthfully, if I had to guess, there are definitely, I want to say definitely, but there's very likely people on YouTube that if they wanted to build cases of like defamation, they could probably win. Truthfully, like they if they really want it, but that's the thing. It's who wants to go through that shit? Who wants, like, to what end? Because you're gonna have to pay legal fees. And there's no guarantee you're gonna win, and your reputation's probably gonna get shredded on both sides potentially. So it's like, it's one of these things where people who do, usually people copyright strike for two reasons. The first is it's dead serious. Like, I will take you to court. I will go all the way. And people only do it that earnestly when they've already talked to a lawyer and there's a case. And the hope is if you do that, it stops because the person's getting a real warning. Like this could fucking end you. So you could either keep going and take it all the way, or you could just stop while you're ahead. So that's the first reason people copyright strike. And well, and that's not, I'm not even talking about like companies. Companies copyright strike shit all the time because they own it, and they will fuck you in court. Easily. The second, though, is like if we're talking about like smaller content creators, the second reason people copyright strike is it's kind of like a loud bark, right? Where there could be a bite, but you're hoping that the loud bark is enough to stop it. Where, you know, they call it like false copy, like, and yeah, there is false copyright striking where it's kind of an unfortunate flaw in the system, but it exists. It has to exist because YouTube can't fuck around. None of these platforms can fuck around. If you as a content creator or whatever, if you strike content as that is yours, doesn't like, even though it probably does fall under fair use, YouTube will still take it down. Twitter, and I'm assuming in other places like TikTok, they will still take it down because they can't risk that. Like, they're not going to be the ones to say, no, we're not taking that down. It's protected under fair use. The person whose content was taken down, the person who was using the content, they have to do that. That's the important part, is like they have to go out of their way to prove, again, usually through a legal battle, that they're protected under fair use. And the idea is that most people won't do that. It depends on how serious it is, you know, like, so I'll give you an example. Like if I were to react to, I don't know, I've reacted to the Act Man, or I don't want to throw anybody's name out there because then people think I'm accusing them of copying. I have not gotten any copyrights, by the way, but let's just say I react to another YouTuber, right? And I do a whole stream about it, or half of my stream, and I'm reacting for 2 hours, and I'm giving my commentary, and then we're playing it, and I'm making fun of them, or I'm shitting on them, or I'm fighting them, whatever it may be. If they were to issue a copyright strike to me, that content would get taken down. I would have no choice in the matter. It would be taken down, and YouTube would issue a strike. I would then have to appeal it. The only option I would have is to appeal it with YouTube. And then I would have to hope that YouTube would undo it. But I'm at the mercy of YouTube. And YouTube usually sides with YouTube more often than not sides with the person issuing the copyright strike. So then my only recourse would be I have to go to court. Like I have to get in contact with a lawyer. And I'm just saying, like, you know, this is one of these things where it's like, or I could just not use that person's content anymore and save myself the trouble. But that's why that person people would have a problem with that person striking the content, because it's like, if I was commentating over it and I'm transforming it, right? It's a transform. I think that's the idea of fair use, is you're transforming it in some way. You know, it's the idea that like I am abiding by the guidelines of fair use. But I don't know, man. It's there's a lot of like gray areas with this shit, you know. Wait, who are you talking about? Marvel's Wolverine? Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure who you're talking about there. And that's the thing, man. Like when it comes to slander, like I'm not a lawyer, you know. I don't know. I didn't say you could definitely build a case around defamation because I don't know. I don't know. You know, you take this stuff to a lawyer and they might be like, no, like you're not that's not a winnable case. You don't have a case here. I don't know. I just know that defamation cases are real, and slandering somebody and endangering their livelihood, shit like that. I think that can be taken pretty seriously in the court of law, and there might be there might, depending on what the context of it is, it could become a serious thing. But I thought they allowed use of copyright it, but you can't make money off it. One of the things you guys may have noticed is anytime I am talking about GTA, I only put screenshots up. And that's because for some reason, and it's always been this way with Rockstar, only Rockstar, anytime I use any of their trailers for B-roll, it gets copyrighted. Every time, dude. To the point where I'm like, I'm just using screenshots now. But what's interesting is raw game. Like, when GTA 6 comes out, if I capture GTA 6 gameplay and use that, they won't copyright that. They only copyright the trailers. And I don't know why. Like, that's really weird. But that's why anytime you see me talking about GTA 6, I just use still images because they can't copyright that. But oh my God, gaming star. I don't know. That's sheesh, man. But yeah, when it comes to copyright stuff, it can be messy. And my my whole thing with, like, I'm just at a point where I don't have a problem per se, like a big problem. Like, if people want to react to my I've never had a problem with people reacting to my content. But I've always said, man, and I will always say this, like, my only request is, like, if you're gonna use my content frequently being the key word, just please link it. Like, link it and make it accessible to people who may want to check it out, out of respect. Like, even if you're dumping on what I'm saying, like, at least have the decency to link my content. Bro, this is a gaming channel, not a truck channel. Wait, what are you talking about? Who's talking about trucks? Oh, we're talking about Ford. Bro, I got. They're talking about Ford. They're talking about Ford pickup trucks in my chat, man. What's going on? What are we doing? Yeah. Some crazy shit going on in the world, man. Absolutely some crazy. I think I went over my yeah. I'm 8 minutes over the 3 hour mark. I don't know. Do I keep going or do I wrap it up here? What do I do? Seems to be a relatively quiet day. I'm checking to see if there's been any more news. Not a whole lot going on. Let's take a vote. Michael says wrap it up. He strapped just says bye. Whoa, hey Michael, I didn't say for sure what I was doing. I see how it is. Oh, Gaming Star wants me to play a song. All right, my last ditch. I got one more in me. Somehow. Uh, 15 more, we'll see how much they like your song, Gaming Survivor. 15 more memberships, and I'll play Gaming Survivor song. Yeah, Michael, you can't leave. You can't leave till the show's over, bro. You got the mustache to be a truck channel. My truck. I just want to drink my truck. Do you guys see that fucking YouTube video or whatever? We got a fight for Gaming Survivor's song here. The song is called Microslop Fanboys Stop Funding Your Own Demise Part 2. It's only 2 minutes long. Trucks and beer and guns and more trucks. Trucks and beer. That's weird. That's weird. All right. Nobody will give you 50 to hear AI slop song, bro. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna play the song. I know I'm talking about the AI song and I'm losing viewers. It's definitely because of the AI song. All right, I'm gonna play the song, Bible, Guns, and PlayStation. And as I play the song, we'll try to get a member train started. And I won't stop the song till we hit the goal.
Yeah. They sold you the dream, huh? Read the fine print. Yeah. Click terms, big grin, you ain't read that page. They flip scripts, rich kids, you just feed that cage. Talk tough in the threads, then you cop that brand. Same suits that you hate, got your card in hand. Fake love, use a first while they gut your rights. Every patch, one perk, then they tax your life. You scream they corrupt, but your cards say bye. How you rage at the throne when you build it high. Stop funding your own demise. You pay, then you act surprised. They smile while they bleed you dry. Same lie in a new disguise. Stop funding your own demise. You mad, but you still subscribe. You pray that the wolf plays nice, then cry when it eats you twice. They play war with your toys, split friends, split crews, lock joy in the vault, sell keys like news. Day one, great deal, but the soul got stripped. Whole scene on a leash, whole net got flipped. You quote all the leaks, but you dodge that fear, cause it hurts too much when the blame too near. You point at the kings while you crown them still. If they poison the well, why you foot that bill? Stop funding your own demise. You pay, then you act surprised. They smile while they bleed you dry. Same lie in a new disguise. Stop funding your own demise. You mad, but you still subscribe. You pray that the wolf plays nice, then cry when it eats you twice.
Wow, thanks a lot, Gaming Survivor. That song got me 0 new members. Great work you did there, man. No, I'm just kidding. That actually sounded pretty good. Yeah, I appreciate the shorter ones so much more. They're much more easily digestible, you know. That was pretty good. All right. Well, I think this is where we will wrap it up. Guys, that's it. That's today's stream. A lot of crash outs. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch any of the content that I put out here. The only other thing I'm going to ask you to do as you are heading out, if you haven't done it already, please hit that like button. But I want to make sure I give a shout out to everybody who dropped support today. If you dropped any member gifts, if you became a member, if you dropped any super chats or direct donations, thank you all so much for that. I'm completely fan funded. I can only do what I do here because you guys make it possible. So shout out to all of the supporters. And I also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the stream. If you guys see Devil Shooter in the comments with those timestamps, give him some love, show him some thanks. I know he appreciates it. And yeah, Devil Shooter, thank you for what you do, man. Am I going to stream tomorrow? Hopefully. Did we find out if Moore's Law is Dead gave any new information on the PS6? I'm not sure if anything came out or not. I would like to stream tomorrow. Oh, great. Wonderful. I just went to Reddit and someone is beginning to spoil. I didn't see what the spoilers are, but beware. There's copies of RE9 out there. People are already playing it and spoiling it. So, geez. But yeah, Irfan, I would like to stream tomorrow. I'll play it by ear. We'll see what news there is to go over and cover and what discussions we could have. Okay. If I don't stream, then, just make sure you have notifications turned on. And if I'm not here tomorrow, I'll certainly be back on Thursday, but hopefully we'll keep it going. All right, guys, that's it. I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.